Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Watch with me, host, Joe with me. Some noise. That's right, get excited wherever you are all across the world. We're here, we're back, we're live, we're having so much fun talking with you on the world of sports and boxing and beyond. It's going to be a jam-packed show for you today. We got boxing and potentially some ducking allegations to address when it comes to Alexander Usyk versus the indomitable, the young and up-and-coming star in Moses Itauma. He claims that he'll never fight him. Well, is this a situation where, hey, you running from smoke, or is there a little bit more to this whole ideology? Also, some updates on when Usyk is indeed going to retire, which further puts it into perspective some of this talk with, hey, why are you trying to call it quits when apparently you ain't gonna retire after your next fight, and you got some more stuff down the line. Again, allegedly, we're gonna talk about that as well on this show. On top of the fact, we got Fabio Wardley versus Joseph Parker that we need to discuss in a very anticipated matchup between two behemoths. And don't forget, the NBA starts today. That's right. Oh my! Wait a minute. We getting excited that all the meccas of sports are coming down right here, right now. NBA, NFL, and boxing all are now officially going down at the same time, at the same place. So if you think we've had content before, just wait and see. It's going to be insane what we can do on this channel now. And I'm so excited you're going to be here with us on today, covering all of this and talking with us all together. So if you're new to this show, hey, leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Come on and join the empire. Come on and subscribe. Come on and hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post on this show right here on YouTube, as well as be sure to rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform imaginable. And don't forget to please share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make this possible. We can make this thing grow, flourish, and shine, and become the monolith and fit the moniker of being being dominantly seen as the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Oh yes, we got some problems. We taking over. Forget Teofimo Lopez. It's us, the Watcher, but we in this empire, we taking over everywhere across the airways and across all social media spaces. So we appreciate your input. We appreciate your time. If you would like to join in the conversation, hey, we got a chat down below. Go on and put your comments in the section to see what you got to say, to see how you feel, and to make your voice be seen and heard for the masses to enjoy and to delve into some discourse, if we may. As well as be sure to go ahead and I think I said everything. I said everything. Wait, oh yeah, if you want to support the channel and you like what you're hearing throughout the show, hey, while we're getting monetization set up and put in its proper order, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description if you would like to support anything we'll do. Again, this is how I pay the bills, and it helps make the show bigger, better, and grander for your viewing and listening pleasure. But with all the pleasantries out the way, we got boxing to cover, we got sports to talk about, and so ladies and gentlemen, it is time to step into the ring. Yes sir, let's get this show started. Round 1 of the show going underway. Yes indeed, as we have to cover one of the bigger issues involving the heavyweight world, because the one thing that's really gotten a lot of people's eyes and attention with Alexander Usyk, and that is his potential claim to not fight Moses Itauma. Yeah, oh no, oh my indeed. And the question has started to arisen, hey Usyk, are you ducking smoke when it comes to your competition that we want to see you face in the world of boxing? Now again, we don't just throw this around willy-nilly. We also understand that we're dealing with one of the most accomplished, not just fighters, but one of the most, not just heavyweights, one of the most accomplished boxers in all of the world, who has faced off against a litany of dominant names, both at cruiserweight and at heavyweight. So to say that he is potentially ducking somebody is very much a aggressive and damaging sentiment in the eyes of a lot of people. I get that, I understand, but again, this is not me just belligerently bringing this up. Per the words of Usyk himself, which again I can read off right here on the old picture when we bring it up right here on the show. This should be it. Yep, this is it. To quote Usyk himself from BoxingScene.com, one of the prominent sites when it comes to reporting on boxing news and others. No, I won't fight Itauma. Yes, this is from Usyk himself. Oh my. He's young, always teasing me, and he said himself he doesn't hit grandpas. Now again, this was the main antithesis of the quote. And so this has everybody all up in arms saying, hey, wait a minute, hold on now. We're talking about Usyk, who is the current undisputed heavyweight champion in the world, who ran through Daniel Dubois, put that brother to sleep more dominantly than he did the first time out, who's gone through Tyson Fury, who's gone through Anthony Joshua, who's gone through Derek Chisora, who's gone through just about every single known and recognized heavyweight who is at the top of the division in its very short stint in the heavyweight division, with him having, 7 fights, I believe, on his career at this division. And he's already this accomplished, already has 2-time undisputed, already has been seen by a lot of people and has been touted by many experts, casuals, and peers as one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, top 15 to top 10 for a lot of people, and which is insane. He's doing this old. How dare we say that this brother might be ducking, but hey, brother, this said himself, and it's concerning because of the fact that I've said that Usyk is way better than Itauma. Absolutely. And that still stands true to this day. That's not the fight that we're having, though. It is the up-and-coming future of Moses Itauma, with how quickly he is looking to go and progress in his career, that we're all questioning and asking, hey man, we can't be sitting here looking at you with what we know is real comp coming your way, and all of a sudden now you're already shooting down the fight. Now again, there are a lot of layers to this whole saga, and I want to hear what you all's take and opinions, because I got some of my own of what I think is the reason why Usyk said what he said. But still, the question is still on the table: is Usyk ducking Moses Itauma based on this statement that he put out? That again, it seems like he's pretty adamant with that. Hey, I'm not fighting this, but too young, say he don't hit grandpas, and potentially I got bigger picture pie. I want to hear what you got to say on the matter. Absolutely. Like with Timmy T. What's going on, brother? Thank you for tuning into the show. Glad to see you here with us on today. Let me see. Yo, how you doing? Well, yo to you as well. Appreciate you tuning in on the show. Moses needs to stop fighting senior citizens. Washed up white, and now what's next up? Pulev. Now, again, this is another layer to this whole conversation that I want to touch on. That's why I said we're going to break this down. Step away from Usyk real quick. I am not saying that Itauma should fight Usyk right now. Be clear. No, he should not. Absolutely not. I get that. Again, beating Dillian White and the way that he did it, though he is old, does not make him an immediate title contender, but it also doesn't detract from the fact that, hey, that is indeed impressive. And this man is showing us some real stuff. And as a step up in competition with who Dillian White was, reputation, experience-wise, even with the age at hand, it was still, if he did something special against this cat, who's supposed to be able to be a wily veteran that can make him really concerned, we got ourselves a conversation that the future of Itauma could be incredibly bright. And we saw what he did to Itauma. We saw what he did to Wild. Not Wild. We saw what he did to White. That got proven true. This is not me saying that Itauma should automatically be in contention for a title shot against Usyk right now, today. I get Turkey wants the fight to happen. No question about it. I get that we got people like Eddie Hearn trying to make that fight happen right now. I believe it's Eddie Hearn that he's under. If I have my promoters correct. But regardless to which, the people with the money Yes, they wanted Itauma to be the guy to go and fight against Usyk. However, that's not and should not be the case of what happens. The concerning thing is down the line with how quickly he looks to be evolving and with how quickly he can step up his competition with where his cachet is right now. This is where I'm saying the conversations of Usyk already shooting down this type of fight does have a little bit of concern. This isn't me saying that we need to rush somebody, but this is also me understanding, hey, as the champion, as long as you do have a belt, at least on this channel, what we propagate, you got an obligation that if you're going to defend it, you got to do it right. And if you're going to work, you got to work. You can earn your rest. You can earn your break. But if there's people on the horizon, until you say, yeah, I'm calling it quits, there's still some business to handle. And if that business does come down the line and Itauma does eventually reach that threshold, which I think he will, is he going to keep the same type of rhetoric? That's where the concern comes into play. Because again, I've never heard Usyk talk like this. He hasn't done this for the whole of his career. It's alarming and it's surprising, which is why it needs to be discussed. Because this is something where he was running through the division quick. And all of a sudden now, shooting down a potential fight down the line against one of the, looks to be one of the top contenders in the division for, or within the next couple years. A little bit concerned. But let me see what you got to say on the matter. Even still, let me see. Moses is ranked number 1 in multiple sanctioning bodies, so he has to take on the best opponents. And if he doesn't, excuse me, I'm sorry. Moses is ranked number 1 in multiple sanctioning bodies. Yes, he is. So he has to take on the best opponents. Yes. And if he isn't ready, he should be dropped for number 1. Understandable. Usyk needs to take on Parker versus Wardley, winner or Caballero. Now we're going to talk about Parker versus Wardley, and real quick as a preview, it is now, from what I can find, it's been confirmed just about. Winner of this is going to be the next up for Usyk's undisputed title. So hey, this is great. Joseph Parker got one more win, and it seems like it's going to be officially locked in that he gets his mandatory shot against Usyk, which we've been waiting on for a long time. A long time we've been waiting on that fight to finally take place. On the other end of the spectrum, with Wardley also being, I believe, an interim champion, hey, this cat's one fight away in his own young career. Understandable. Don't forget, I think Wardley is short in the tooth as well when it comes to him in the heavyweight division, in boxing as a whole. He's a young brother. Wardley's potentially one step away from being the man to make history and to be all of a sudden of the next eras of the heavyweight division. He could be the dude that takes the reins and say, hey, yo, I'm the guy. Then y'all got to run into the beat now. Itauma or anybody else in the division who's around my age, guess what, brother? You ain't the man, I am. And so with that fight, we're going to talk about it later on in the show. We got a whole segment for that, and then to discuss who's going to win and how's it going to happen, all that stuff, absolutely. But there's a lot at stake right now. But that's, from what I can find, that looks like it's been just about confirmed that that's going to be the case. Winner of Wardley versus Parker will fight Usyk for the championship. Which, hey, I'm all for it, and I'm happy to see. But with Itauma, sure, yeah, if he loses, he ain't ready. It's understandable. He's young. He is being pushed very quickly. He, however, also feels that I can get there. And if I do get my shot, there's going to be some noise being made. There's going to be some furniture moving. And at this point in time, there's nothing that tells me that the hype isn't at least understandable for what he is as a heavyweight. Though we're not saying he's going to be able to beat him yet. It looks like quicker than many people who are even on the train of Itauma may realize. He's working he's chugging along to be able to say, hey, year or two, I'm that guy, so what you gonna do? So let me see, I'm in Rwanda. What's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Appreciate you coming in on today. Let me see what you guys say. So if Parker beats Wardley, how do you see Parker versus Usyk going? Well, I see if that, and again, we'll talk about that in the next segment, because there is something else I want to say with this whole Usyk potentially ducking situation, because there's more to it now. There is more to it. I would have Usyk beating Joseph Parker, which would be incredibly impressive because of the run that Parker has been on since his loss to Joe Joyce. Retooled, regrouped, beat Zhang, beat Wilder, then would have gone on and beaten Wardley. Now this, he fights against Usyk. That would be like, oh shoot. And Parker, from a name perspective, has been in the ring with nearly just about every notable heavyweight, I think outside of like Tyson Fury, that this era has to offer. And so if we want to talk about resume from the standpoint of quality, who you fought, Joseph Parker is up here. And it looks like he's gotten a second win in his career that seems to be sustaining. So that's going to be a tough thing. And plus, yeah, even though it was on very short notice, him knocking out Bacoli is something impressive. Him knocking him down in 2 rounds and having him on wobbly legs that quickly. Yes, Bacoli wasn't able to train. Yes, Bacoli came in on a day notice. I completely get that. But still, there's still something to putting out Bacoli. Because ain't nobody just stopping Bacoli. F.A. Ajagba is supposed to be one of the harder hitters in the whole of the heavyweight division, both from a look standpoint and from an actual punch standpoint. You can talk about a skill set, which absolutely is deserved to be criticized, but he couldn't even do that to Bacoli. That bullet is his size. So it's like, man, shoot. He does that, all that, and then fights Parker, and then fights Usyk, and Usyk beats him. Hey, that is a great win. That's a great win. But I would see it going Usyk's way if that did take place. But again, before we delve too deep into that, further going into the second part of this whole question, is he ducking him? One of the conversations with this is the fact that, hey, isn't Usyk retiring after his fight with either Wardley or Parker, since he's set to face the winner to defend his belt? Weren't we talking about for over a year that Usyk was going to be, after he said himself, after 2025 he's done? He's got 2 fights left in him. Even with him stepping in the ring afterwards saying, hey, I got a lot more in me. Up until this point, he's been out. Ain't nothing else come about. Up until now, with the retirement talk now getting pushed back, which now I can actually confirm when it comes to Usyk and his own words, or rather Usyk and records, as we can see right here per, hold on, wait a minute, I got it, it's here. It should, is it? I think, what, is this the full clip? I don't think it's, no, it's not the full clip. In regards to which, we'll show you the news and then play the clip afterward. As we go into the picture yet again, hey, Usyk apparently ain't retiring after this year. My gosh.
Hey, look at us. We got the problems here. We got the problems here.
Well, again, which is good. It's not a problem. Hit the wrong button. It's not a problem. It's great. We get him for a longer time. But per inside the ring, again, Max Kellerman, Mike Coppinger, I think this week, Malik Scott, and McCoy, Usyk is going to fight 5 more times before retirement. This could take him into late 2026. Shoot, if it's 2 times a year, it could be 2027 that he actually goes and says, I'm out here. If he fights twice a year. So, like, my goodness. Which further propagates the point. Why are you already shooting down the idea of Moses Itauma if you have, per your advisor who came on the show, 5 years left or at least 5 fights left in your career. As Timmy T just said on in chat, but Usyk, or rather Itauma, is ranked number 1, or at least high top 3 in most, if not all, of the sanctioning bodies. And you mean to tell me that within 5 fights, and if we keep with the same schedule, 2 fights a year, so that's what, at least 3 years, Itauma ain't gonna be in a position for a title shot if the ball keeps rolling like it's rolling? Because again, still needs to keep on winning. Still got to be proven. He still got to go and fight the other people if need be. If he doesn't get made a mandatory outright, to go through in terms like, hey, yeah, Usyk has to go and negotiate with him now. He's got to go and keep on winning. Fight top contenders. Potentially fight Justice Hooney if need be. Potentially have to go through Wharton or Am Park or Caballo. Any of them. There's a litany of names. Shoot, might even have to go through Anthony Joshua before he gets a shot. Okay, it could. But regardless of what road he has to go through, if he does keep winning within these next 3 years, 3 to 5 years, which is what, again, about how long? You can tell me he wouldn't be able to get there? You mean tell me he wouldn't be in position to be able to say, okay, hey, this is the man, if Usyk's still reigning, that you got to fight, and you're already shooting down. Yeah, I'm not fighting that brother. Now, if that's because you just think, yeah, your time's not, but he's too young now, and by the time you do get to a point to fight him, you are going to be well past your prime, okay, fine. If he's speaking into the future and saying, look, most likely by the time he does get to where he is indeed ready for me, I'm going to be out the sport even with 5 fights left. Okay, if that's how it goes, fine. But if that's not how it goes, and he gets there, oh gosh, oh Lord, we got ourselves a problem. We got ourselves an issue. We really do. Because now you got to face him. And so I'm concerned for the future. The present, I completely understand. Yeah, I'm not fighting him. Because again, in this position right now, Itauma's not going to get a shot. Even though everybody keeps saying, oh, we want to see it. Everybody knows he ain't ready now. Everybody knows he ain't ready now. Even with how good he looks, he ain't ready now. And yet, he ain't fought those upper tier elite fighters. Now, there's some people I think he can be. There's absolutely some people I think he can be, but he ain't gotten that experience nor done the work at that level. I get it. He ain't been moving bad, but he's just young. That's natural. Unless he goes on a Mike Tyson run and fights 17 times in a year, no, he ain't going to get that level of experience until 3 years. Okay, then now, yeah, we're going to see it. Probably late next year is when we're going to see him fight a legit big-time contender, like a Caballo, I would assume. Even a Justice Hooney. Or Itauma, who's also on the rise as a heavyweight in the world of boxing right now, who, again, is long, is incredibly powerful, and was 6'6", with some good movement and pop. He's not Tyson Fury, but this cat is he's looking like something. If this growth keeps going. There are people he still got to go through. I get that. I'm not saying he needs to fight him now, nor am I saying that, oh yeah, Usyk is already running scared. I'm of the notion he doesn't think that fight will ever happen because of how what he thinks time is going to be like. Within that 5-fight deal, he might get out of here. Or by the time that 5-fight deal ends, he might get out of here. And at that point in time, yeah, Itauma's going to be, if everything goes right, up here in the heavyweight world. But Usyk's going to be out the door. If that's his frame of thinking, okay. But I'm telling you, if Itauma gets to a point within these 5 fights where he is in position and deserves to get a shot at the title, and Usyk still is saying this stuff, guess what we're going to call it? A duck. We're going to call it a duck. We're going to call it a duck. We're going to call it a duck willingly. That can be a problem. That can be a major problem. Let me keep on reading what you all had to say on the matter. Let me see. Tay, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. If you're enjoying the show, please keep on liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. Keep on commenting. We want to see your thoughts and opinions on everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. Because again, we got a lot to cover on this show. We appreciate your time. No question about it. Let me see. Tay, I'm not even sure Itauma can beat Richard Torres. Now, I've had this conversation before. I am not high on Richard Torres at all. At all.
Hey, look at this.
At all.
We got some problems here.
At all.
We got some problems here.
He is a swarmer. He is a brawler. He is undersized, but he's incredibly strong. He is an Olympic, I believe an Olympic, silver medalist? At least a Olympian. Period. I'm not saying he can't fight. But of the last 4 fights I've seen him, and the opponents that he's faced off against, which it should have been his whole career up until this point, has been giving him fodder, not just to grow, but to get his name hyped up in the heavyweight division. He has not improved in the slightest from what I expected him to be and what he should be looking like from my viewpoint at this stage in his career. I've said this before. Itauma's way more advanced from a technical perspective and as a fighter as a whole than what we see with Richard Torres. And let's be real, Richard Torres ain't a fighter on the level of a Dillian Whyte. He ain't done that yet. And Itauma has, I think, 1 or 2 more fights than him. And Torres, with a similar number of fights, has yet to fight somebody that has been at the championship level before, especially of the caliber of Dillian Whyte. That's not me hating. That's just me being the truth. And when it comes to Torres as a fighter, the brother's sloppy. He's aggressive. He can take a shot. He's got a good engine, yeah, but it still does fizzle out. And last fight, he did not look great. It was supposed to be a showcase to further his name, and it did not look good. If Torres proves me wrong, I'm happy. I want the heavyweight division to be filled with dangerous talent. But Torres does not look like he's anywhere close to that level. If that was the case, we will be talking about this fight, Torres versus Itauma, as a wanted fight between each other. Already get them going while they're still growing, and then let them fight again once they've matured. We could have a trilogy for the ages potentially with 2 of up-and-coming heavyweights from the UK and from America to go through and have a clash consistently, being in each other's way all the time. We're not even bringing up Richard Torres in any moniker when it comes to Itauma. With Itauma, we're having more conversations with Usyk, with Fury, with Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, shoot, Justice Hooney, anybody of that top 10 caliber. IJ Caballero. Do we think anybody of that caliber is a type of fighter that Richard Torres can beat right now? I would say no. And if you think that, it's not, I'm not trying to disrespect your opinion, but in my humble estimation, I think that you're being blinded by something that is not sustainable when it comes to Richard Torres. At this stage, with what he's shown with his career right now, it's not the best. Forget not the best, it should be better off. He should not be an afterthought for the next era of heavyweights. We should be talking about them a whole lot more than this. We're talking about Justice Hooney more than we're talking about Richard Torres. And Justice Hooney would beat up Torres. If they fought against, Fabio Wardley would beat up Torres if they fought against each other. Caballero would beat up on Torres if he fought against her. There's nobody of any legitimate contending caliber that Richard Torres can beat right now. At this stage right now. And again, he's at the same stage as Itauma. He's an Olympian as well. I don't see it. I really don't see it. It's not because I want to see him succeed, but I gotta call a spade a spade. But I don't see where the talent translates to success at that level, especially against Itauma. And if Itauma faced off against Richard Torres, but Itauma would kill Richard Torres. Would kill him. Destroy him. Richard Torres is rudimentary, heavy set on physicality, without any real substance and skill set. Is a swarmer who, if you are able to use your leverage properly, hey, buddy, you can negate a lot of that stuff. Most of the people that he fought ain't been able to have good feet to use a jab to get out the way. And the one person that did, which was the last fight, who was tall and had some decent use of distance, gave Torres all he could handle from a standpoint of it was a lackluster 12-round decision. Not saying every fight is going to be a knockdown, drag-out brawl, but doggone it, you should be better than that against that type of guy. And that was supposed to be your step up. It's not good. For me, it's not good. Not for him, it's not good. Also, Tate, good afternoon. Sorry, I didn't even say what's up to you. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi. Hi, appreciate you tuning in. Again, I love the questions. I love the conversation. This is great discourse, absolutely. And I still want to hear what you had to say. Let me see. Rhonda, I think the longer Usyk waits to fight him, longer Usyk waits to fight him in Itauma, the less it lessens Usyk's chances of beating him. Now, you're probably not wrong. Let's be real. As further delving into this whole topic of discussion with conversation. When it comes to Usyk and Itauma, yeah, you're right. It's the same thing with Canelo. Don't forget, it's the same thing with Canelo and Benavidez. The longer Benavidez waited out, the longer Canelo waited out Benavidez, the less likely the public was seeing, hey, but I don't think you can beat him. Especially with how he is progressing and how you are regressing. Now, we haven't seen the regression of Itauma yet. However, we haven't seen the regression of Usyk yet. However, does not negate the fact that when we're looking at the trajectory of what's most likely going to happen with Itauma being in that mix for a championship opportunity. One of the things with Max Kellerman, he said, hey, brother, you'll be better off fighting him sooner than waiting around or saying I ain't going to fight him at all. Because again, it's one of those situations. It's one of those situations, just like with Canelo and Benavidez. By choice or by force, you're going to have to make a decision. And that's the worst place you can be. By choice or by force, you're going to have to fight him. You don't want that. You don't want that. You don't want it to be, hey, either you give up the belt or you got to fight this monster coming up while you're on the decline with where you are, or you fight him you fight him on his way up. Before it gets to a point where you're out of your prime and he's fully in his prime and you can't do what you want to do. And now you're getting beat. How long Usyk's prime actually lasts, we won't know. Like I said, we've had a bunch of champions that are old that are being dominant. Arizona Laura's getting ready to fight Janabek. He's 42 years old, the oldest champion right now in boxing at middleweight. And just in general, oldest out there. Archer better be it, but still the second best or better, but with in terms of the rankings, and deservedly so. He's the second best light heavyweight in the world, and deservedly, and should be there. He beat what was seen as the best in the world in Bevo from the standpoint of that division. And he's 41, I think, going on this year. Crawford's 38, Canelo's 36, Pacquiao's 46, and just fought Mario Barrios to a draw. We got Joseph Parker. I think he's 36 years old? getting up there in age, and now he's still in contention to be at a title position. There's a lot of things when it comes to age that are being negated with this current crop of boxers, which is incredible. We love that. We love that. But we don't know when the bottom's going to drop. Pacquiao, we didn't know he was good until he wasn't when he fought against Ugas, and then the bottom just fell out. We don't want that to happen to Usyk. Or anybody for that matter, but for this conversation, we don't want that to happen to Usyk. And Itauma gets to where, hey, it's in position. And it gets to a point where he could have fought him. He could have fought him. Because let's say hypothetically, because we know the rankings of Itauma being top rated in most sanctioning bodies. Let's say he fights Joseph Parker or Wardley, and he beats him. Then goes on afterwards and fights Tyson Fury for a third time and beats Tyson Fury. Next year, you got 4 fights left. And Itauma comes up and he beats one of the other mandatories. Let's say hypothetically, Caballero becomes a mandatory. And Itauma beats him and takes his spot. Now what? Let's say Itauma keeps on beating other mandatory champions or people around that sect. Let's say he beats Anthony Joshua within that 5-fight stretch that you got, that you've extended your career with. Let's say he beats a Justice Hooney within that 5-fight stretch. You gonna keep on waiting him out? If you do wait him out, are you gonna just hope and pray that you don't gotta face him? Or you gonna fight him when it's appropriate? Saying it's appropriate. I'm not saying it's appropriate now. But brother, we get to your second or third fight in your new 5-fight deal. I wouldn't be mad if we were saying Itauma should get his next shot at a title against the undisputed champion. One of the things that we hate about it is the fact that we don't get young contenders fighting for belts earlier in their career. People waiting around. People too far in trying to build up their resume instead of going like they used to do and getting belts when they were 22, 24, 25. From the standpoint of like, hey, you don't got to wait around anymore. You don't have to go. You got the status and the talent. Now go after the big dogs. We've been saying we hate that. Tank, perfect example. We said he been in position to go challenge big folks, and he ain't doing it at all. Thomas the complete opposite. He's looking to go and take on these big time dogs. And if he gets there, hey brother, it's gonna be for anybody, but for the sake of argument, for Usyk, it is a boy. It's a fight we want to see, but man, you better be careful. And don't get too long in the tooth before you fight this cat, or it could be a bad day. It could be a bad day. It could very well be a bad day down the line. But let me keep on reading. Let me see. Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. We appreciate your time on this show. Moses is a monster, but he's young and lack experience. Usyk will beat him if they fight right now, but I'd love to see it. And I'm completely there. I'm completely with you. Completely with you. Usyk would beat him now. But before we go switch gears, Usyk it's not about Usyk fighting him now. It's about the fact that Usyk has now got a 5-fight deal. And Usyk is already saying, I won't fight Itauma. At this point in time, yet it makes sense because Itauma still isn't at that level. But within that 5 fights, I am very adamant he's going to get to that level. And if we're being completely honest, it's only going to take 2. It's only going to take 2. He fights any of the top 15 and then potentially gets a fight with either Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua, or Fabio Wardley. That's 2 fights in, all of a sudden, hey, brother, shoot, make the fight now. Don't let it be by spectacular fashion. All of a sudden, the hype's going to be through the roof. The money's going to be insane. And it's going to be, he's going to get, shoot, it'll be too big of a spectacle for them not to make him a mandatory at that point and enforce it. Not just crown him, enforce it. You got 30 days to make a negotiation. It can happen. In two fights, it can happen. So I don't like that Usyk's already shooting it down. Because, brother, while you're still in your prime, if it lasts long, Itauma's looking like he's going to get to you. Whether you think he can beat him or not, that's another question. But Itauma looks like he's going to get to you. And because it looks like he's going to get to you, you can't already be saying, I don't want that smoke, because we all are champions who want to take on anybody. But you still got a heel to represent. You still got a kingdom to rule. You still got a throne that you're defending. And for Usyk, it's a throne laden in gold. Platinum, whatever precious metal you want to think. He's done that in abundance. But as long as you fighting, you got work to do. And you can't be saying, I'm not going to do it against a brother who we all recognize. Within that stretch, and while you're still able to be dominant, he can get to your level. Or at least within your vicinity. I'm not saying it's going to be as good as Usyk. But he can get to a point where, hey, brother, I'm there for you to fight. And it makes sense. And it's deserved. And I'm good enough to compete. Where's my opportunity? Good. I'm not going to lie. It's a bad look for Usyk already saying this at this point. Because the trajectory I see, it's quicker in a hurry. Quicker in a hurry. We can see that fight happen. Or at least we can see that fight become not just a hype dream, a legit reality. A legit reality. We can see it. And so if Usyk still talks like this, once Itauma does get to that level and Usyk is still fighting, and if he's still champion, then yeah, we gotta call it a dub. We have to call it a dub. We would have to. We have to. Let me see. You want more? You want Usyk versus? Oh, also Angry Mexican. What's going on, brother? Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. We're so happy that you're here with us. We're so happy that you're enjoying the festivities of the day and you're enjoying us on this Tuesday afternoon, the first show of our week. This week is a phenomenal job. We appreciate all of you. If you have not already, please come on. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the stream, and keep on commenting, keep on chatting. I want to hear from you about what you got to say. And if you want to support the channel, well, we ain't got monetization just yet. Hey, we got Cash App and PayPal. The link's down below. If you want to help make this show bigger and better, put some money in my pockets. Hey, come on. Go ahead. Send me some dough my way, and we can make this show even bigger, even greater. Invest back into it to make it so that you all can have an experience that is fit for the moniker of the hottest show in all the globe, right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Let me keep on reading what you all have to say. Moses needs to beat Caballero, then I'll be on board with Usyk. That's no problem. That is no problem. Absolutely. 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 And in 2 fights, that fight can be made. In 2 fights, that fight can be made. Caballero's already established with them beating Jank. And even with that, I'm saying I still need to see more from Caballero to give me some proof that, yeah, he can beat, or he can compete with the likes of Usyk, even the Tyson Fury, if Fury does come back. But, hey, he's in that position. But within 2 fights, Yeah, I can see Caballero and Itauma getting it on. I would love to see that fight. That would be a great fight. And if that's what it takes to get you on board, that is a completely justifiable stance. Absolutely. What I am simply saying is that those types of fights, to validate that, yeah, he needs to be there, and to put the resume together and the experience together to get a Itauma to that top level, guess what? It is not as far down the line as many people may say. It ain't. Which is why we need to start talking about this fight in a serious standpoint. We need to. With Usyk saying stuff like this, which again is very much out of character from what I've seen him do. We need to really seriously think about this fight, because this is not something where it'll never happen, or he's got a long way to go. He does not have a long way to go. I promise you. This isn't me trying just to buy into the hype. I'm telling you from the standpoint of what the people that control rankings, other fighters, and more specifically what the fans are saying. Beyond just fanboys, they're like, hey man, 2 fights, this cat could be in position for a title. He really could. He really could. And so we just gotta be ready. Let me see. Usyk has earned the benefit of the doubt. And yes, like I said, you're absolutely right. Usyk has earned the benefit of the doubt. He's done so much. To claim that he's automatically ducking seems very much jumping the gun. We're asking the question because this statement is very much uncharacteristic. With what Usyk has as a track record, again, Daniel Dubois, on a resurgence in his career, he beat him. Anthony Joshua, with his own resurgence in his career as well, he beat him twice. Tyson Fury, who was seen by almost everybody as the best heavyweight in the world, he beat him twice, clean, without any controversy. He's beaten every fighter outside of Daniel Dubois the first time with the low blow, and even still he knocked him out. The first time, he's beaten every fighter without controversy. In terms of at the heavyweight division, it's been a clean sweep. Like, I'm telling you, man, Usyk's done the work to have the reputation that he's garnered, and it can't be shaken, but it can steal from the terms of motives. If you are saying something that all of a sudden don't sound right, we still got to say, hey man, what are you thinking and what are you doing? Because this isn't the Usyk that we know. This ain't the Usyk that I know, who was running through the heavyweight division against people that people were saying, hey, man, he might not be able to get a past X, Y, Z, and he did with ease. This ain't the Usyk I know that was being ducked by Tyson Fury and was taking less money to ensure doing every stipulation that Fury asked for just to be sure he could get that fight, and then won, and then fought him again and beat him better. We ain't just it. We don't want to jump the gun, but it does not seem like what Usyk would normally do. And so, if we give him the benefit of the doubt, fine. But be watchful. Be watchful of both the career and the words of Usyk from this point on, and the career and the words of Itauma. Because if something starts acting out of line, we're going to have to call it like we see it, just like everybody else. We don't care about frame of person. We care about, hey, but are you doing what you're supposed to do? That's the truth. But let me keep on reading. Garden Snake, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Do you like Turkey lying about more pay-per-views only to now charge $60 for any videos per yard? I think we talked about that yesterday. I believe, not yesterday. I think we talked about that last week briefly. because it was later on in the show. But yeah, Turkey said that it was going to be Riyadh season, would be a separate, would be able to buy the fights, see all the fights with the ring on the zone. Cool. However, that package is coming after, if I got my stuff right, after Benavidez versus Yard. And the ring 6, and even with that, or rather now they changed to where they did finally add it in, but you had to buy the zone and then buy the package of Riyadh season, and so again a lot of people were misled, and that's wrong, that's bad, that's horrible, that's not what it's supposed to be. That is a problem. Call a spade a spade. That's an issue. When he's talking about, he was telling us, hey, buddy, you gonna have to pay a flat fee and you get everything you want. So we care about the consumer. He said that. And a lot of fans, everybody, not a lot of fans, everybody was misled. And that's a problem. That's a big problem. Because if we want fans to support the fighters, but we also understand, hey, you have been upcharging us for years. People can't afford this stuff. If you're gonna promise something to be consumer friendly, and then all of a sudden turn around and there's a caveat that isn't what you said it was, guess what? Your reputation is gonna take a hit, and it should, because you misled the public with their wallet. Some people paid for stuff, and now they ain't getting what they thought they were gonna get. That's a problem. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem. They can fix it. They can do better going on, but the damage is done. The point blank period. It's done from the standpoint of, hey, this is a bad look. It's a bad look. And in order for it you have to do some work to get it right. Either reevaluate it, rethink it, go back to the original plan, whatever the case may be. Do something, because it is it's not looking great right now. It ain't looking good at all. Also, excuse me, I think I got something in my glasses. I do apologize, because I don't want to take away from the show. But let me see. I want all big fights on Netflix. Well, it's looking like that's what can happen. But it's for big fight. We're talking about like huge fights. Will Netflix go into just a straight up, hey, we do boxing now on a consistent basis? We don't know. I doubt, if it's not an MVP level, if it's not a Jake Paul X type fight or a Canelo Crawford X type fight where it's the biggest of big, most likely I doubt that we're going to see those type situations happen, where we get a Benavidez versus Yard, a Brian Norman versus Devin Haney type fight on Netflix. Not because they ain't big, because they are, but because it's not big enough. Which is crazy. It's because it's not big enough, we most likely won't see those fights happen on Netflix. If we get like a Benavidez versus Canelo, that'll be on Netflix. That'll be there. If we get a Crawford versus a Boots, that could be on Netflix. We get, with the way Bam Rodriguez is coming up, and he all of a sudden says, hey, I'm jumping up, and he makes a statement to where everybody's clamoring for him versus Inoue, that'll come up. If we get an Inoue versus Tank, somehow, some way, that'll be on Netflix. Which again is I'm just naming out big hypotheticals that could happen. But if it ain't of that caliber, we most likely won't see those fights on Netflix unless it's a huge, monumental, record-breaking type of thing, because that's what Netflix does right now. They can host boxing events, but they're not a boxing company. So, sadly, you won't get everything with your subscription, but you'll get some stuff. You will. You will get something, because they're not going to get away from this game. They ain't going to do that. But they're going to be very deliberate in how they go about this game. I can guarantee of that. But we still got more to talk about on this show. No question about it. As I'm switching to the next topic of discussion, it is, hold on. There we go. Yeah. Now we can talk Wardley versus Parker. Yes, sir. All right. All right. All right. So now this fight's getting closer and closer to happening, and we, like I said before, winner of this is from all reports, is going to be the mandatory for Usyk's undisputed title when Usyk's going to fight them next. We had briefly talked about this fight last week. However, quickly, we need to delve into this a little more fervently. And in my estimation, well, first up, I want to hear who you all have winning this fight. Because again, there might be a lot of different opinions with the identities for each. And so it's going to be interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on how this is going to be. Timmy T, Justice Hooney was outboxing Wardley so easily. Yeah, he was. This should have been, if in all honesty, it should have been. If Wardley didn't have as good of a chin as he did, it should be Hooney versus Parker for mandatory. Whenever that gets Usyk, that's what it should be right now. But again, Wardley, Art of War, the brother is just, hey, I'll keep on trucking up until something lands. But he was about to get beat to Kingdom Come. He was about to get rocked. He was about to get rocked to Kingdom. He was getting rocked to Kingdom Come. He was getting beat left, right, and center up until he threw a Hail Mary of a shot. Yeah, it's a shot that he practiced. But brother, we watched that fight live on this show. That was literally all he had left. That was all he had left. Was that counter right hand. And that was it. If that didn't land, but he was about to be he was about to be bad. Because by round 9, it was getting progressively worse and worse and worse. It was ridiculous. But like, and Wardley had that crazy miracle KO. Don't see that happening against Parker. I don't. Now, with that being said, that has to be the best comeback of 2025. I mean, like, it's a knockout of the year candidate. It's a comeback fight of the year from the standpoint of like you were down and out. Moment of the year is also an argument. It's got a lot of accolades that one fight can get. But what we can't negate is that Wardley's going to be, from a perspective of technical expertise, he's going to be in some deeper waters than I think he's ever been in his career. And Justice Hooney is a great fighter. Let's be clear. Justice Hooney is a great fighter. Joseph Parker is a world-class heavyweight. And Joseph Parker right now has been able to also come back in his own right from knockdowns from some of the heaviest hitters in boxing, like with Big Bang Jang. Can Parker get knocked out by Wardley? Absolutely. Absolutely. Wardley can knock out Joseph Parker. He does have that level of crack to him. But, like Teddy Atlas always says, that delivery system, even though he has one, it is easy to fail or misfire, like it was against Justice Hooney. Because if you are, like with any fighter, yeah, sure, you can anticipate it. Yeah, you can slip it and counter and all that stuff. Yeah, but with Wardley specifically, it is very much, he got some big bang when it comes to his tools in his tool belt, but he ain't got a whole lot of tools. And if you can get to round 5, and you're able to nullify 3 of the 4 tools that he's got, all of a sudden, brother, he's fighting now on nothing but will and grit. Because Parker can tag him a lot. I'd say Parker can tag him at any point in time he wants to, once he closes the distance. And so they say Andy Lee is clicking with Parker. Yeah, no, he is. And it's working great. It's a phenomenal tandem. And it's a situation where we are seeing Parker, even in the late stage of his career, add elements and find out things about himself that were unanswered in the past. Like, remember when he got knocked down by Anthony Joshua, couldn't get up. Though, again, that was a prime Anthony Joshua, but still, Joe Joyce did everything he could and just could not topple the juggernaut Joe Joyce, and eventually got knocked out. But now he's adapted. He has evolved. And he's gotten to a point where, hey, you put this Parker against those fighters now, he could give AJ a world of trouble. Prime AJ. And most likely this version of Parker beats that version of Joe Joyce that he lost to. Wardley is not going to be able to deal with that level of technicality on top of the added speed. See, Justice Honey was able to catch Wardley at any point in time off of the counters, but he also wasn't nearly as fast as Joseph Parker. And Parker got better hand speed, better foot speed. From a head movement perspective, he's got more range of motion. And he's more explosive. And he's very good at being able to anticipate and react. And if he sees that something's hindering you, he's going to keep going back to the well. It's like it did with Anthony Joshua. He didn't wait from round one. He did not wait to pressure, or not Joshua, just like he did with Deontay Wilder. From round one, he went and pressed Wilder after when he realized, oh, wait, this brother really does struggle with fighting against pressure. Guess what? I don't need to be Tyson Fury's size to pressure this man. Nor do I need to be a slick fighter in the same vein as King Claw and Luis Ortiz to give Wilder some potential trouble with my jab. Guess what? I'm explosive enough and fast enough to be able to come through and, hey, overhand right, do something about it. And I can trust my chin. And we saw what it turned out to be. Wardley, but the Parker's going to have, from on paper, he's going to have a great time in terms of Joseph Parker doing whatever he wants to do. But from the standpoint of being aggressive, from the standpoint of being able to anticipate the shots coming his way, and showing Wardley that heart is not enough at this stage in the game. Mind you, every fighter that we said had insane heart was also bringing more tools to the tool belt. That heart combined with, hey, I got weapons that I can still delve into to go and make the impossible possible, is what made it so incredible. Because most people, if you beat the will out of somebody, guess what? They don't want to go back to the well of another situation. But with great fighters, guess what? They can get there. And when it comes to Joseph Parker, I'm not saying that he's an all-time great from the standpoint of, yeah, he's Mount Rushmore heavyweight. I'm not saying that. But for this era, this man has shown, hey, man, I got more than just heart and will, but I've evolved to a level that everything that's your worst nightmare as a fighter, if you're 5 year worthy, I bring to the table. And I got crack. If I can wobble Bacoli, brother, I can knock out you. If I can put Bacoli on the canvas, I can, even with him being on short notice, I can knock you out. If Justice Hooney can tag you as easily as he did, from the standpoint of when he was able to anticipate the counter, slip, and continue to react, and keep the pressure on you, and force you to fight on the back foot. But you sure enough know I can do that same thing. And if we're going to talk about a gas tank, part of the issue with Wardley, yeah, he is definitely driven. He'll dig deep. But he'll also get tired because he's throwing everything under the sun at 100 miles an hour. From the standpoint of all full-blown, like that. The cat's throwing with bad intentions on every shot for the whole fight. especially when his setup weapons stop working, when his jab becomes nullified, when his pressure becomes a backfiring tool, all of a sudden, but he gets desperate. And he just, all right, I'm swinging for the fences, something's going to land. Sapping his own gas tank for the sake of trying to get the KO and not still setting stuff up properly. Or if he does set something up, guess what it is? He's looking for a counter off the ropes. Counter uppercut or a counter hook off the ropes. That's what he wants. When all else fails, I'm swinging as hard as I can. If you trade with me, you better hope you land first, or you better hope you can take my shot. But if I get countered, or I get the worst of the exchange, guess what? I'm back to throwing again. Throwing again. If nothing else works, I'm throwing again. He doesn't set anything up after that. You do that against Joseph Parker, oh my gosh. I'm not saying it can't work because it worked against Justice Huni, but doggone it. If, like I said when that fight happened, if you rely on that type of offense to be the saving grace for what you are as a fighter when it comes to you being able to consistently win, that's not going to sustain you into a championship opportunity. That's going to be a very short-lived stint at the top and potentially a shorter career. Because all of a sudden, don't forget, this is eerily similar to the same situation that we had with Joe Joyce. Was it not? Or rather, is it not? Dominant puncher, but who can come through and crack with anybody, but who can come through and also can take anybody's shot and keep on trucking? Once his chin gave out, that's it. And he had nothing else to rely on. He couldn't be defensive. He couldn't be different as an offensive fighter. He could not defend the now cracked chin that used to be a tungsten block. We saw what happens now. He lost to Derek Chisora, who was on his way out the door. That could easily be the same thing that happens to Fabio Ward. That could easily be the same thing. If he wins this fight, I will be surprised and impressed. But if he loses, I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be. The signs were there. I'm telling you right now, the signs were always there. Signs were always there. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Parker, MC from Ronda, Parker, or excuse me, Rhoda. I'm sorry, Rhoda. Parker should win this one with ease, but Wardley always has that power to get that KO. Yeah, absolutely, he does. But I'm telling you, if there was any, but Wilder tried to rely on that power as well. Deontay Wilder tried to rely on that power as the only saving grace for why he could beat Joseph Parker. And look at what happened. Look at what transpired. Look at what the outcome of that fight was. Abysmal. Sad in every facet. Sad in it by every metric. When it comes to a performance of what we expect to see from Deontay Wilder. Now, Fabio Wardley is a better fighter than Deontay Wilder. He is. But same issues can come into play. And the same pitfalls can arise like that. And the same outcome can happen. Just like that. Just like that. Quick and in a hurry. Quick and in a hurry. I guarantee you. It can be it can get sketchy. It can get sketchy real quick. But also, as we're going through and talking about the words of fights, as we still got to move on, we want to make sure that we keep this show running clean and pristine. We still have a couple of things to discuss. Oh, yeah, see, and I'm sorry. I meant to play this clip with Mike Hoppinger going into details with the whole situation with the advisor and who's fighting next and all that stuff. But I already said it, so we're good on that. But also in the world of a little bit of boots conversations, it looks like that the further implications of the fight with Boots and Virgil Ortiz is going to be set up genuinely. As we can see, as we look at this post right here, we got Oscar De La Hoya himself saying, and I quote, "I want to see Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz fight." Now, also, before I even search, let me make sure that Virgil Ortiz is under his stable. Let me make sure that before you got to make sure. I want to make sure that this isn't just okay, yeah, so he is. Okay. Just had to make sure this wasn't just a promoter saying I want to see it, but the promoter who has Valdez or Ortiz under his stable saying that he wants it to happen. So yeah, so quoting Oscar De La Hoya, who is running and owns Golden Boy Promotions, he had this to say when it comes to that fight with Boots versus Virgil Ortiz. I want to see the Jaron Ennis Virgil Ortiz fight. Virgil has to win against Erickson Lubin on November 8th for these talks with Boots, or these talks to fight Boots to continue. I am hesitating, am I hesitating making this fight? No, because I know Virgil. He wants to fight the best, and he wants to be the best. I think that this is the right moment to make the fight. Will it happen? I'm counting on Virgil to win his next fight. Well, okay, so apparently we can at least hang our hats a little bit that we can see that fight more adamantly be seen as, hey, it can happen. It can legitimately happen. And in other news as well, in lieu of the conversation, as we're just giving you tidbits of information that's going on in the world of boxing as well, we also have, as you can see by the title, or as you can see by the subject line, hey, Charlo again, right? We were questioning whether this cat is really about trying to make a comeback, whatever for whatever it may be worth.
If they gave me
he had this to say on per the Ring magazine. If I can play it right here, hold on, give me a second. Let me get the thing up. There we go. And I'll play it for you right here. Let me just make sure it ain't too loud. Oh yeah, we should be good to go.
Offer for Crawford, and me and Crawford, I talked to him one time. I'm excited. I'm so. It'll be an honor to get in the ring with him, not just today, just because of what he done as becoming undisputed. He completed something that I didn't complete, and so being in the ring with Crawford would be amazing. I give him the best fight of today's era. I don't think that there's no other fight out there in the boxing world for Crawford to make right now. The best fight really would be me. The best fight with Boots is me. The best fight with Crawford is me. Obviously, nothing else. Anybody else could. Earl and Virgil and the winner of them. But I really don't see nobody else. What y'all want me to do in the game?
So,
if they gave
so
me
now, again, this is Jermell Charlo, Butler Jamal Charlo, coming through right now, and mind you, the reason, that's not what I was trying to do. I'm not trying to open a new tab, doggone it. But when it comes to this conversation, I'm not just trying to bring it up just because, Charlo's saying something again. The rhetoric that he's using, and I believe, first off, let me make sure this is, I keep getting these folks mixed up. Jermell Charlo, 6. Okay, yeah. So this is I had to make. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, this is Jermell. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Hey, look at this. We got some problems
Hold on.
here.
Wait.
We got some problems
Time out. Wait a second. I thought this was Jamal Charlo, who was at 160, or excuse me, moved at 168, calling out Crawford. I'm so sorry. This brings a whole new perspective to it. This is Jermell Charlo. But he's been out of the ring for 3 years, calling out now Crawford on top of the calls that he had with the likes of Boots, with the likes of Spence, with the likes of Ortiz, and everybody else under the sun at 154 and at 160. So now, Let me rethink real quick, because now I got to reevaluate what I was going to say. Because I thought this was the bigger Charlo, not. Unless I'm right. Yeah, no, this is this is the smaller Charlo. Yeah, this is the smaller Charlo who lost to Canelo and didn't fight again. So okay, this is what I was. The same point still stands, even though it's a different guy that I thought. Let's see, let Charlo fight Errol, and if and only if he gets past Errol, let him fight. But well, for me, I'm gonna be with you. Let me be real with you right now. Let me be real with you right now. If you think Errol Spence is enough proof of product for Charlo to be able to say, yeah, I'm ready to fight the likes of Crawford, that is not stock I would buy in, with all due respect, because that is not enough for me to say, yeah, he's ready to fight Boots, or then boom, he can do it. I wouldn't say that. Charlo versus Spence is just the introductory. That's the baseline for Charlo. That is the floor. Just to get back in the world of notoriety, you got to beat Spence. If you beat Spence, that's not going to push you up a whole bunch, at least in my eyes. But that'll give you some sense of, okay, he handled his business. And he won a fight that he needed to win. Let's be honest, this ain't a fight that's gonna be like, oh yeah, he beat Spence. All of a sudden, yep, he can take on Boots. We're not gonna be saying he can take on Virgil Ortiz. We ain't gonna be saying that. Most likely, we're not gonna be saying that. Especially with what the understood reputation of what Spence is right now as a fighter. We don't think he's the same. He's close. Most people see him as, hey, brother, if we saw one fight from Spence and he retired, at least I got to see him one more time. Like with Danny Garcia, who just retired in his last fight, getting a knockout. And on a high note, if you do it, great. If you don't, well, you know what? You had a good career. But most people are already saying, you know what? It might be time. If it's time for him to go, we understand. We don't even know if he wants to come back. But that's the floor, beating Spence. If he wants to say, if he wants to shot at Bud, you got to fight and beat Virgil. You got to have a good fight you got to at least have a good fight with Magimov. And after that, guess what? You Fundor, Keith Thurman. There's a litany. And even still, that would be back at 168, the very division that you sucked at when you tried to fight Canelo, where you laid down and died willingly for a paycheck after you felt the power and you said, I don't want any part of this. All of a sudden, you want to fight the brother who beat the very person that dominated you, and Crawford dominated Canelo? You're just talking, and it's going to be the same thing. He just wants a payday. Mind you, even listen to the rhetoric that he's using. Listen to the normal way that we've always heard Charlo talk. And then listen to how we talked against Canelo, and then listen to how we talked against Crawford. He is scared. It's the same thing. There's no even conversation necessary because he's talking in the same respectful way. Oh, it would be an honor to get a fight with you. It'll be a pleasure to get a fight with you. I'm the only fight that makes sense for you and your illustrious career. That's not the Charlo that we know that is out to try to get somebody. That's the Charlo that fought against Canelo to get the payday but didn't really try. It's the same rhetoric. It's the same tone. It's the same the position. And the same outcome's going to happen. You lost to Canelo. You want to fight a better fighter? Again, and mind you, you stopped fighting Canelo the second you felt a power to the body shot. You dealing with somebody that rocked crushed Canelo and took all of Canelo's power without a second thought and had that brother stumbling or at least on shaky legs in the last 30 seconds of the 12th round, and you want to fight him and say you're the best competitor, get your butt to the back of the line and actually get a fight. Huh? Fight, get in a position to fight Janibek. I dare you to even fight Madrimov. I dare you to fight Madrimov. Just at 154. Get to fight Tim Tszyu. I dare you to fight Tim Tszyu before you fight anybody. My gosh. I do not want to see that fight. That fight is not deserving of happening. This man's singing the same song and dance that got him put on a knee and got him out the sport for almost 3 years. The same song and dance. It's the same fake bravado, not even fake bravado. It's the same. And again, there's a difference in having respect for another fighter and groveling for a paycheck. And this same rhetoric, because of what it led to, we're talking about the caliber of talent and what it led to with his own performance. He said all of that just to get the bag and didn't even try. He's not going to try. He sure enough ain't going to try against Crawford. He sure enough ain't going to try against Crawford. You thought that the fight with Charlo and Canelo was bad from Charlo's part. Brother, I wouldn't be surprised if he quit if he fought against the likes of Charlo or if he fought against the likes of Crawford. Because there's no substance behind Charlo right now. There's also LR Vlogs. What's going on with you, man? How you doing? Good to see you. Please leave a like on the stream. Keep on liking the show. Keep on sharing. Keep on subscribing. And keep on joining in on the conversation. I still want to hear from you, and I still want to hear what you all have to say. Absolutely, because it's a phenomenal topic. Genuinely, it is. But like Charlo calling out Canelo or Charlo calling out Crawford is just the same rhetoric. I'm sorry, hold on, wait, hold on, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Charlo calling out Crawford is just another copy and paste thing of what he did to Canelo. There's no substance, there's no real weight, there's no real actual ability. That's the biggest, there's no ability behind this call out. There's no ability for this caliber talent. There's no ability behind this caller. It's just if he did get this fight, he would fight Crawford. He would lose and not even try, and then he would walk away for another 3 years, if not just retire outright. Because why bother? Why bother? Because this is at this point in time, at this level, this is the pattern, and that's bad. That's incredibly bad. But also, yeah, the vlogs, Crawford beats Charlo. Yes, absolutely. The undefeated Charlo, yeah. And the Bud deserves an easy fight. Let him beat the brace off of Charlo. See, like, I get it. I get it. Every fight ain't gonna be a knockdown, drag out ball. Understand, every fight ain't gonna be even remotely competitive. Even at the championship level where we want Crawford and every other champion to be at. But at the same time, I'm looking at it for me. I want to see every fight that Crawford has for the rest of his career. I've been trying to make sure I catch all of his fights. But I know time's winding up just in general for a lot of these people. If I'm gonna pay money, even for a fight that is an easy outing, I'm going to do it for, I at least want it to be, okay, hey, He's at least got some, at least Lima was seen as a top 10 contender against Boots. Whether you thought he was outclassed or not, he at least had that going for him. Charlo, he doesn't even have any, he has so little going for him. And deservedly so, he has little going for him because of what he did. It's like, would I even be satisfied in watching that? Or would it be a situation where we're like, maybe that fight shouldn't have happened. Maybe we wasted time maybe it would have been better if he just kept on going and trying to be ridiculously great and do stupid stuff like fighting Janibek in his next fight instead of trying to take a tune-up, because this ain't even worth my time. I don't want that. We were saying that Canelo versus Charlo was an easy fight, and my gosh, we hated that. I at least want something where I know I'm going to be entertained by. I ain't going to be entertained by that. Almost assuredly, because Charlo's just going to be nothing. It's a shame. Let me see. Brother Charlo will lose to all the top fighters at 154. And at this point in time, yeah. At this point in time, yeah. And at this and let's ask this question. Let's ask this question. If Charlo had stayed active a year after that fight with Canelo, would we be saying the same stuff? Let's have a conversation. Come on. Let's have a conversation, shall we? Let's have a conversation. If Charlo had been active a year, 1 year after this fight with Canelo, would we be having a completely different conversation? I genuinely want to know. Would we be having a completely different conversation when it comes to Charlo as a fighter and what he can be at this division, at 135? Because in all reality, we're looking at a situation where this cat, his own inactivity, dug the grave for his reputation, even worse than the fight itself. It's not just the fact that he didn't look, that he was abhorrently bad in his loss to Charlo. It's the fact that he sat out. It's the fact that he just stopped. Not even with the same issues that his brother had when it comes to mental illness, at least from what I understand. It was, he just didn't do anything. And so I'm like, what can I say except for you let the silence build upon the heaping foundation of negativity, because you just didn't you stopped, full stop. And I'm like, dang, man, I don't know if we would be talking about this in the same way if we were seeing Charlo at least fight on a constant basis. My gosh, it's frustrating. But let me see. I think Charlo would have beaten some of the top fighters if he had stayed active. Okay, so you think he would have beaten let's get a gauge here. Let's get a gauge here. We'll throw out some names, and we'll see. You know what? Let's do this. I've been waiting to do this for a minute. Hold on. No, what is work? I think this will work. I think this should work. Dang it, I can only do 4. Okay, so we'll do, let's see. We're going to do a poll. We're going to do a poll. I'm making a poll. Hold on, y'all. I'm making a poll real quick. Hold on, stick around. Hold on. Don't leave, stick around. I'm making a poll. Making a poll. Who is it? I need to get the names. Of the top, let me turn since I'm close to the mic, let me turn my mic down a little bit. Of the top contenders at 154, if Charlo had stayed active, I'm gonna put out a poll. It's only gonna let me do 4 names at a time, which I hate, but we're gonna make the best of it. Of these 4 names, who would have been the most likely that he could have beaten at 154? If he had been able to stay active, because it's just we want to have the conversation of the top contenders. And if I spell some of the names wrong, please excuse me. I'm not trying to spell them wrong. I'm just trying to type really quickly. Is it with the K? Is it with the K? I think that's right. Hold on. Like I said, I'm typing as quickly as I can. I'm trying to make sure I don't make no mistakes. Cause I know y'all will get me for spelling. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Yep, here we go. Here's the question. Yeah, here it is. And again, if I spelled his name wrong, I apologize. But the question is, if Charlo was active consistently, at least within a year of him fighting Canelo, who would you have said he could have beaten on this poll? And we can only do 4 names at a time. So like I gotta so we can't listen, because again we got the likes of Fundora, we got Bakram. Oh, so it's an H and a K. Okay, so excuse me. I spelled Bakram's name wrong. I apologize. We got Bakram, we got Fedora, we got Ortiz, and we got who was the other cat? Who was it? Shoot, I forget who I said in the poll. Bakram, Ortiz, Boots, and Fundora. So of these, I want to hear from you all. Who could he have beaten if he had been able to stay active in his time? And I guess the highest percentage of votes is who he would have been most likely to beat. The lowest percentage of votes would be who he wouldn't have been able to beat if he was still active. Let me see. Virgil Ortiz for sure. Charlo would have beaten. Really? Wow. Okay. All right, Vaughn Greenhill. Also, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate you tuning in on the live. We're so glad that you're here. Like I said, we are having ourselves a time on today. It's been a phenomenal show. We haven't even gotten into the championship rounds. We're actually, crazy enough, we've gotten through all 3 of the big talking points on the show, and it's been like we got some. I think we get some better structure. Oh, wait, I think we're getting some better pace. I think we're getting a little bit better when it comes to the fluidity of what this show is supposed to be. But again, vote in the poll real quick, and I'm gonna keep on talking through it. I'm gonna read out the results as it keeps on coming. Who could he have beaten if he had been consistently active after Canelo? In your opinion, the highest number for percentage is the most likely person you all feel he could have beat. Lowest number is going to be the person that you all feel he couldn't have beat at all when it comes to number of votes as a whole. But I'm still reading your chats. I'm still going through and looking at you all's opinions. This is great interactions with each other. I love this. I appreciate this. I'm so glad that y'all were with us today. And again, while you're voting, hey, if you haven't already, leave a like on the stream. Shameless plug aside, go ahead. Leave a like on the stream. Come on in. Joining on the conversation, have yourself some fun, have yourself some very much good Not action. Have yourself some good discourse while we're all here together, and let's keep on talking. Let's keep on conversation. Let's keep on making this thing do what it do with being a phenomenal show outright. But let me see. As I'm looking at at both the poll and you all's chats right now. Okay, so we got 50%. We only got 4 people voting, but 50% got Virgil Ortiz being the most likely person Charlo would have been able to beat out of these 4 who are the top names at 154. If he had been able to stay active, nobody thinks Charlo would have been able to beat Boots if he had fought him, or if he had fought him even while active. 25% for Fundora and 25% for Bakram. Okay, we're gonna leave the poll up for a little more time, give more people some time to vote. But let me see here. I think he would have beaten Vooch. Well, please, if you think he would have beaten him, vote in the poll so I can see some tangible numbers as well. But you think he would have beaten Boots? His footwork would cause Boots some problems. See, I don't think so. I don't think he would have beaten Vooch. I don't. I think he would have had that. In all honesty, I think that footwork would have messed up Bakram, especially with that jab. Would have messed up Bakram more than it would have messed up or messed with the rhythm of a Boots' innings. I think if Boots had faced off against Charlo, Boots would have beaten. I think regardless of when he fought him, Boots would have beaten the brakes off. I truly believe that. There's too much. There's too much for Charlo to deal with, in my estimation, if he had fought against Boots. Virgil Ortiz, I'm not going to lie, is a surprise, though. That's a surprise. I did not expect it to be that Virgil Ortiz was the guy that you all thought that would have given, or is the most seen guy that you all would have said Charlo would have been able to beat if he was still active. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Man, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear your reasoning. My goodness. Now, I'm not saying that he couldn't have beat him. He could have beaten him. But as the best of them, see, Charlo would get knocked out against Bakram. Now, see, see, here's the thing. And part of me is like, yeah, Charlo would have gotten even active. Charlo would have gotten knocked out. But I also have to say, because of the lack of consistency on Bakram's end as well, mind you, first time I got to see Bakram was against Tim Tszyu. I had heard about the book, but I never got to see him fight up until Tim Tszyu. So that was my first experience. Excuse me. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Time out. Wait a minute. Hold on. Gotta hydrate. Hold on. Gotta hydrate. Oh yeah. That hits right. That's some good drink right there. That's some good drink right there. But I know he could have knocked him out, but because of the lack of I guess, wide breadth of seeing footage, at least from my end, or at least from full fight, I'm like, I do want to say, yeah, he would have got knocked out, and I think he would have been able to do he would have been able to do the same thing that he did to Tim Tszyu to Charlo, though it wouldn't have been as easy. It's that might be a little bit of an up in the air type of situation, but let me see. But even still, it's like, if I was to see anybody give Bakram a lot of trouble, if it was Charlo fighting against him, it would be because of that footwork, because of that movement, and because of that stick. Again, unlike Tim Tszyu, Charlo would not be as stationary of a target. Now, the question would also become, would he still act the same way when he felt the power of Bakram, like he did against Canelo, and just say, you know what, I don't want any part of this? That's another question. That's another, because again, he fought Canelo while Canelo was active. I'm not saying he fought a super middleweight. I get that. But that brought up questions of, hey, from that point on, if you got some crack, I mean real crack, we got some concerns that we got to look at you with. Because with the way he reacted, would background be the same thing of, I'm shutting you down from even wanting to think about doing anything? That would be a very intriguing crack. But let me see. I think Fundora and Charlo beats Ortiz. Fundora back then. Well, I'm sorry. Charlo back then and Fundora right now beating Ortiz. Ooh. Well. Charlo would have had a better chance at beating Ortiz than current day Fundora when Charlo was consistent. At least in my estimation. Both of them could do it. Now, also, Charlo was better defensively. One of the issues that I have with Fundora fighting Ortiz is the fact that for that much of an offensive juggernaut, that is Virgil Ortiz. Going against Fundora even right now, who is a better fighter and is indeed living up to the moniker now of being a towering inferno, him being still at times frustratingly easy to catch on the defensive end has me having some concerns with, but maybe Fundora is going to struggle against the likes of Ortiz. Because the highlight reel of Sebastian Fundora keeps Sebastian Fundora versus Brian Mendoza keeps on repeating in my mind because I am still at times seeing those types of openings happen when Fundora gets aggressive and really tries to get into his bag. And again, against Lubin, he got knocked down, I think a couple times, in a knockdown drag out brawl. Though again, they were going back and forth with each other. It's like I would be that would be interesting. That would be that. I'm not gonna lie. That would be an iffy fight for me. That would be an iffy fight for me. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Fundora versus Ortiz now would be an iffy fight because of the fact that Ortiz is what's the word? Because of the fact that Ortiz is so much of a destructive offensive force, fighting fire with fire against somebody who lacks the fortress of defense necessary to withstand it or withstand that onslaught and do what needs to do if it gets too bad. I'm like, there might be some trouble. There might be some trouble. It might be some trouble. At least in my estimation. But let me keep on reading you all's opinions and comments as it is loading up, so I can be sure that we got everything in decent and in order for the show right now. Let me keep on reading. Let me see. Hold on. We're wigging out. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Rhoda, he looked very improved in Tim Tszyu fight. Yeah, he did. You're absolutely right. He did. Do you think Errol has a chance against those 4 fighters if he came? What? You know what? That's the perfect chance to go into the championship rounds right now. So, hey, let's talk about it, shall we? Come on. Let's jump into it. We're right in line. We're doing very well. This is the perfect question to delve into the championship rounds of this show. So, again, if you haven't been here before, this is the championship rounds of the Welch Report, where we have covered everything of the big pieces in news, talking points, and plot points that I've made for this show. Now with the floor is open to you all to talk about whatever you want to talk about in the world of boxing, basketball, football, movie, sports, television, video games, all that stuff. Whatever you want to discuss, we can talk about it right here, right now, on this show for you all to display and have your voice be seen and heard for the masses to enjoy and to indeed be a part of the conversation, sweeping the nation when it comes to all of this stuff involving the sports world as a host. We appreciate all of you coming in. We appreciate all you tuning in. And without further ado, hey, it's time for us to jump in. Let's get it started. Let's get it popping. Come on. It's time to work. It's time to shine. It's time to make this show sublime. All with you and your voice. Let's see what you guys see on the matter right here, right now. So going back to Vol Greenwood, before I even do that, OG Blaze, what's up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We appreciate you coming in on today. No question about it. What do you have to say on the matter? People might be overrating Bakram, and this is a good. Ooh, hey, hold on now. Wait a minute. Now you about to ruffle some feathers. You about to ruffle some feathers now.
Hey, look at this.
You about to ruffle some feathers.
We got some problems
You better be careful, brother. You about to ruffle some feathers saying that Bakram might be overrated, but I am not going to act like there isn't potentially some validity to it. I'm not going to act like that at all. Because we got to be real with this. And we got to say, something ain't lining up when it comes to what's going on with Bakram and the lack of impact since that big dominant win. People want to see more, and when we don't see more, guess what? We get lackadaisical. We get impatient. To a degree, we get concerned. Was that a fluke? Though it was your best performance. Absolutely. Should have been no reason that you got to sit on the sidelines or at least not making noise like we talked about earlier. Now, I think his skill set is indeed worthwhile. I do. But I also understand that Tim Tszyu, I believe, was the best opposition that he's faced to date. It was also his best performance, which is no problem. But at the same time, some people may use the issue of he was damaged goods after Fundora and have that as a reason why Tim Tszyu was potentially a shot fighter going into that fight. Some people say that with Tim Tszyu being the only major name that people have seen him fight, all of a sudden it's like, well, are you a one-hit wonder for a lot of people? And is this really a sustained moniker of dominance that you can achieve with anybody in the ring? Or was this just, hey, brother, you are a threat, but you ain't that much of a threat? That's what's interesting. But before I even continue with that, because that's a good talking point, I do want to keep on or answer Greenio's question. Do you think Spence has a chance against those 4 fighters? If you want my honest opinion, you want my honest opinion? You want my honest opinion? My honest opinion is good gosh no. Good gosh no. Lord no. Lord no. I don't think he's got a chance against Bakram Fundora. Who was it? Bakram Fundora, Boots, or Ortiz. He ain't got a chance in the world. Not a chance in the world. It's because if Spence said, I need to move up to fight, to be at my best, and since he's moved up, he hasn't fought at all. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know what he looks like at all at 140, at 154. And yes, what Terrence Crawford did to him was Terrence Crawford. Everybody is not Terrence Crawford, as we clearly can see. But at the same metric, they have the potential and the pop to do what Crawford did to him. And we don't have any other litmus test of at the deep end of a new division, what can Spence do against that? And it's concerning. I want to see him be something, but the brother, I can't say nothing on the cat up until he actually comes through and does something with himself. So at this point in time, I don't think he got a chance in the world. Not right now. Not right now. If the biggest op that he can face and win is Charlo. We got to be honest. The biggest known opponent that he can beat right now is Jermell Charlo. That's the truth. That's the truth right now. Of a fixture in the division. That is the only reputable name. I don't see him beating Madrimov. Not right now. Ramos? Let me make sure Ramos is in the division. Does he beat Ramos? I don't think so. Let me check and make sure I don't want to. I want to make sure I'm not mixing up divisions real quick. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Jesus Ramos, I don't know if he beats him. Chuck, yeah. Adams beat him. Brandon Adams beat him. Do I got confidence that Spence can do the same thing? I don't know. Can he beat Brandon Adams, who knocked out and then outboxed and outbrawled Boachuk on both occasions? Definitely beating Sebastian Fundora. I'll tell you that right now. Xander Zayas, who just became a champion at one the youngest champion right now, I think in boxing. Can he beat him? I would say no. Shoot, a boss. Currently is a legit world champion. I think he got elevated. But per which one? What site is this? Yeah, per the Transnational Boxing Ranking Board, which again, one of the most reputable pound for pound and rankings list I've seen and used when it comes to understanding who's the top dog in the division. Where did they do it? And the experts that they have, very resourceful, very credible. Under my estimation, I think it's worthwhile looking at. But with their ranking, the boss is ranked, though he's a champion, he's at the bottom tier of competitive fervor at this division. Could he beat him? I don't know. There is no competent boxer at this stage right now that I can see Spence beating unless he goes out and does something to show me he's got something left still as a fighter. Because right now it's just an emphatic no. Right now it's an emphatic no. Right now it is an emphatic absolutely not, at least from my vantage point. And so, but let me keep on reading what you had to say on the matter, because I want to make sure. Okay, hey, we back and it's working now. And we back and it's working. So I think we're good to go now. Hey, we can bring them up. All right, we got it going. Hey, look at that. Everything's coming up roses. We good now. Now we can get your stuff up on the screen. We work behind the scenes. Everything's popping up like it's supposed to be now. But let me see, the answer's absolutely not. Yep, I believe so. Love King, absolutely. Because when he stepped up, he looked sensational. In terms of Bakram, that's why the appeal is the appeal. Because, yeah, when he stepped up, he showed up. We had questions. But I answered them with flying colors. So I'm like, hey. It's hard to say that he shouldn't be seen as this big of a threat. But it's also understandable to say, hey, I do want to see more. Because I get that completely. At least the IPF rehydration makes everyone not want to fight Bakram. Yeah, that could be that could be a factor. I'm not gonna lie. On top of the threat, that could also be a very legitimate factor. But again, like I said last week, it's also Bakram's responsibility and its promoters, more so its promoters than anything, to make Bakram unavoidable and make it so that he's too much. You make him too much of a product from a money standpoint by hyping him up, by giving him some cachet, by making the fans call out fighters, say, hey, you need to fight this cat. Getting marketing on his side to make him worthwhile for people to say, yeah, it's a big risk, but I'm going to take it. Because you got to. You got to. Because Bakram doesn't want to fight. He does. And Bakram should have been making more noise a while ago, saying, yo, somebody get in the ring with me. But it's also, again, promoters, it's your job to make it so that your fighter, who's a champion, is not just recognized and known, but it's a commodity. And it's like, yo, it's wanted. You also got to make that happen. Also on the come up as well as with the title. Everybody's at fault right now when it comes to fighters are avoiding him. Bakram ain't talking enough, and his promoters ain't doing enough to make Bakram worthwhile for fighters to want to take a chance on. It's a shame. All around, it's an absolute shame. But let me see. Errol might have a slight chance against Tony Harrison. That my opinion. Sure, yeah. But you also got to understand, he's not coming back for Tony Harrison. That level of fighter, yeah. Okay, Spence, I can see you beating them. But I'm talking from the vantage point of I'm talking from the vantage point of at what level Spence is going to return to, and it ain't going to be for Tony Harrison. With no disrespect, it's not going to be for Tony Harrison. He's coming back for a bag, and he's coming back for legitimate big names. He just is. He's not going to come back for that type of fodder, respective to where his name is as a boxer. So because of that, Tony Harrison at this point in time, that's not even on the table when I'm looking at what Spence is going to do, because I know what he's not. I know what he's looking for, and it ain't him. Sure enough ain't him. Because that was the case, he would have been back 2 years ago. That would have been his introductory fight at 154, if I'm being completely honest, with where Spence was as a name after that loss to Crawford. It would have made sense. But he ain't coming back for that. He's coming back for big money. And will be coming back to put himself firmly in a position for a title, which he needs to go through the fodder fights in order to get to make sure he's ready for that level. But he's gonna jump. I'm telling you, those against my better judgment. But I can't tell him what to do. He's his own fighter. He's his own man. He's living his own life, and we love him for it. But he should not be trying to go and wait on these big-time moniker-type fights, because it's going to be bad for him. Watch. I guarantee you, when he gets a fight announced, it's going to be against somebody that's like, ooh, are you sure you want that type? Are you sure? All right, we're going to be, hey, are you sure you want to take on this brother? Are you sure you want Fundor? Are you sure you want Bakram? Are you sure you want Virgil Ortiz? In your first fight back, are you positive that this is what you're looking for? Because it's dangerous. I'm telling you, that's where he's looking. Sadly, that's where he's looking. Can Errol Spence be Brian? Absolutely not. No. And again, even at 147, the issue is we don't know what Spence is going to be like at all. The whole issue, we knew Spence before Crawford. But after Crawford, there is nothing that we have to hang our hat on. Nothing at all. And there's so much time in between. That Errol Spence at 147, we can't use that as a barometer to say, hey, if he went back down to 147, even fighting against Brian Norman, he could still probably do something, right? You can't say that, because that Spence at this point in time is no more. The Spence that was dominant, the Spence that got all 3 belts, the Spence that broke Kell Brooks over the orbital bone, the Spence that made Ugas never fight again, or at least hasn't fought since that fight with Errol Spence, the Spence that has gone through and was seen as the best welterweight in the world, that's not going to be the Spence that fights against Brian Norman Jr. We all capitulate right now that Devin Haney's a better fighter than Spence. At this point in time, we all capitulate that. And we're saying that Devin Haney ain't got a chance in the world. And Devin Haney's active. Devin Haney's consistent. Devin Haney has fought most of the big names that we wanted him to fight and has moved up doing so. As a resume, he's unquestioned. As a talent, we may have some concerns. But in terms of accolades and who he's faced, we can't say nothing about because he's fought everybody. He doesn't duck anybody. He was gonna fight Boots. And then was gonna fight Teo before the deal with Teo fell through. Because Teo backed away. But this brother was getting ready to fight everybody under the sun. We gotta understand. We're saying he's got no shot against Brian Norman Jr. I'm not going to say that Errol Spence, who we don't know to this day what the world he's like in any capacity, can beat Brian Norman Jr. right now. Because that Spence is the Spence that could have beat him doesn't exist. The Spence that could have beat Brian Norman does not exist anymore. What is the Spence now? We don't know. And we got to wait. And I hate that, but that's the truth. We got to wait. We have to wait. We got to wait and see. Because at this point in time, it ain't, there we go. It's unknown. So I'm saying no. On that front, I'm saying, I don't think so. Errol Spence can beat Tim Tszyu. And that might be the biggest name. I can see him beat. Even though I'm still saying, I don't know. Even though I'm still saying, I'm concerned. Even though I'm still saying, I'm still wary of that fight. Of the people that Tim Tszyu I'm saying could. I'm not even saying he's guaranteed to beat him. But he could beat Tim Tszyu. Now, he could beat this version of Tim Tszyu. Yes, could. But even still, it's shaky ground. Even with that, it's shaky ground. For me, it's still shaky ground. If Janibek beats Lara, Adames and Crawford, that would be... I'm sorry, hold on. If Janibek beats Lara, Adames, and Terrence Crawford, what would that do for his legacy? Well, all of a sudden, if he beats all 3 of them, if he beats all 3 of them, if he takes the belt from Lara, he defends that belt and then takes the belt or defends his belt against Adames. Then he beats Terrence Crawford, who at this point in time is looking like if you ain't at 168, if you ain't at 175, you have no shot at beating him. Because he just beat the best 168 pounder in the world. The undisputed king of that division. That is not a question. And he beat him with the greatest of ease and worse than any other fighter has beat him in a totality standpoint. But he beats all 3 of them, with Crawford being the icing on the cake. Shoot. What you want me to say? He's top 3 pound for pound. He's top 3 pound for pound. Most likely, he's top 3 pound for pound. Especially if Crawford keeps on looking dominant and Crawford hasn't faded by the time he gets to that fight with Janibek. And Janibek beats all 3 of them with a great version of Crawford, Yeah, he's top 3 pound for pound. Because right now, Crawford is the undisputed king right now. He is boxing. He's reached that zenith. And you're the guy to knock him off. Guess what? That's insane. You knock him out. My gosh. Even better. Now, the road to dominance is yours. You got 175 now. You can go back and try to clean out 168 again. You would have already handled your business at 160. Now you got a chance to be the it guy, and you can make a run at a glamour division like 168 and go through the ringer. It does. His legacy. He's already set as a great middleweight. The foundation would really start to settle in, because he still can make a lot of stuff in his career. If he did that, that would be ridiculous. That would be stupid. I gotta actually think if he goes about that road, that would be preposterous. Even with a weaker division at 160, you knock off the top 3, the top 2, and then you go and beat the best fighter in the world immediately, back to back to back. Yo, hey, whoa. That's the start of a insane legacy. That's the start of an insane legacy. That catapults you into, hey, brother, all the money you want, following's insane, and now you're the guy everybody wants to fight. It pushes him to that status. It truly does. It truly does. But let me see. Errol lost one fight to the best fighter in the world. Now people saying he's trash. This is why people are scared to lose their. Oh, no. See. This is different. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Hey, look
Hold on. Time out.
We got some problems here.
Time out. Let me see what's going on with the featherweight division. Nobody wants to unify. Everybody just waiting for anyway. Nick Ball should be already fighting Espinoza. But sadly, that's not happening. He's fighting somebody else, and it's like people are getting mad at that. People don't want to fight Espinoza, who's another champion. Stephen Fulton is moving up to 130 to fight O'Shaquie Foster and to take his belt. And so I'm not knocking him, because he's trying, while still champion at 126, he's trying to get a belt at 130 right now, this year. So he's chasing greatness. And the fourth guy, who is it? Who's the fourth brother? Hold on. Angelo Lee. Angelo Lee just around. He should be getting a fight, but ain't no thing. Again, the biggest issue is Nick Ball, because he should be fighting and aiming to unify against these people, because he has both the name, excitement in boxing and marketability, and he's been the guy that has been the most gung-ho on paper, but he's fighting Figueroa. Just no disrespect to Figueroa. Figueroa got outclassed by the likes of Stephen Fulton in their rematch. Why the world is he getting a shot with Nick Ball now, when Nick Ball could be fighting Espinoza, if anything, this year? Or at least early next year. He could be. He legit could be. If he made the move. But it's looking like he's waiting on anyway. So like he's the one that's waiting on anyway. Everybody else is either being tied up or avoided, or is just moving up outright to go and check another belt at another division. But Nick Ball has been very much a big concern for what he's been doing in this division. I'm not gonna lie at all. But let me keep on reading. Going back to Love King's question. Let me make sure I read it right. Errol lost one fight to the best fighter in the world. Now people saying he's trash. Shake my head. This is why people are scared to lose their own. This is a different situation. Normally, yes. You lose your O, everybody says you suck, yada, yada, yada. The pain of boxing is the fact that people are impatient, and unlike with the UFC, you can't afford to lose, or else you're going to be like, oh, you're a bum. Mostly because a lot of fans are stupid. Let's be real. They're stupid. And they're casual, but in a negative connotation. And because they're still of that casual base connected to that Floyd Mayweather ideology. Your O was the only thing that matters. But before that, that wasn't really the case. It still meant something to be undefeated, but it meant more if you challenged folks. He changed their perspectives. Now with Crawford, it's changing back because he's risking everything. He just so happens to be winning, but he's fighting everybody. And everybody else is trying to follow in his footsteps and fight everybody now. So we're getting out of that mode. At least a little bit, which is great. But at the same vein, we are not calling Spence trash because of this loss, because it was against Terrence Crawford. We are concerned with Spence because since then, it has been absolutely nothing to show us what you are. Now, when you said you needed to move up to fight, you needed to move up to fight. Mind you, this is the same brother who, after the car crash, beat a still dangerous Danny Garcia less than a year after, or just about a year after, and then fought Ugas afterwards. This is also with the retina issue and the new teeth. You fought both of them relatively quickly once you recovered from the car crash and you looked right as rain. You just got beat by a better dude. And now it's been 3 years removed from that fight with Crawford, upwards of 5 years since that crash, and it has been that you're still doing nothing. We're not calling you trash. We're saying, hey, brother, I'm not going to sit here and say that you're still the best that you are. I'm not going to sit here and say you're still pound for pound level talent when we haven't seen you fight in almost 900 days. Granted, the only other people that have been out the ring that long that have come back are who? Keith Thurman and Manny doggone Pacquiao. And the same critiques we had about them coming back and being concerned, guess what? It's the same thing with you. We're not trying to say that Spence is trash. We're not trying to say that Spence should be trash. I'm not even saying I want Spence to be trash. But I'm not going to sit here and bank on this brother. If we're talking about him in the elite competitive sphere, with this much ring rust on him, knowing what we've seen from these fighters that we're talking about him with, that we're going to say off a hope and a prayer, he's going to be better than he was at 147 with a long layoff, with age inevitably potentially catching up to him. And with what you all were saying, the damage of that fight that it did to Spence took a lot out of him. Just like we said with Ali and Joe Frazier. Just like we said with Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti. Just like we said with Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. There are some fights that take something out of you that you can't get back. There are some things that take something out of you that you lose a portion of yourself in the ring. When we quoting Teddy Atlas, he says you lose a portion of yourself every time you step in the ring. But there are certain fights that take a chunk out of everything that you are, and you can never get back to. because that fight cost you an undisclosed amount, but it is a permanent transaction, and you can never get back to what that payment was, because it was so weighty. It was so weighty. You just can't. For Tim Tszyu, people say is that first fight with Fundora. That cut afterwards started the beginning of the end. It was a debt that he can't repay. And then Backlund sealed the deal. Yeah, he's not the same. Whatever he was before that Fundora fight, afterwards he's not that anymore. We can see it. And then in the Fundora fight, the second one, though Fundora got better, Tim Tszyu quit. He quit. We never seen that from Tim Tszyu. Something got taken away from him in a debt that he can never repay in that first fight with Fundora. This is that type of situation with Spence, potentially. We won't know the answer up until he actually gets in the ring, but he's never getting in the ring. And I don't think he'll ever get in the ring, like I said before. And if he does, guess what? If history repeats itself, you're doggone right, I'm going to say, look, don't be surprised if this brother, when he does come back, is never the same and he can't compete with these other dogs, because guess what? He's no longer the dog that he used to be, and he can never get back because he lost the debt that he can't repay with the beating that he took against Crawford. It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. We're not saying he sucks. We're not saying he's a bump. We're not saying losing his O is everything. We're saying in the comeback fight, the signs of you being what you need to be productive are not there right now, because the willingness to step in the ring also isn't there right now. It's gone well beyond the grace period of what all of us were saying you should have taken time off of when it comes to fighting, which was understandable. It's gone well beyond that time period of where we expect to say, hey, all right, Spence, it's been almost a year and a half. You know what? I think he should be ready to go. 2 years? Hey, a little bit longer than tooth. Getting, a little bit concerned, but he's still gonna come back. He's still taking his time, like I said, making sure his body's fine-tuning right. Now we're coming up on year 3. The fight date of that fight with Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford was the fight between Spence and Crawford was January, February, August. No, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. July 29th was the last time he fought. It is October of 2025. We are nearly past the halfway point of year 3. Or we're nearly at the halfway point for 2.5 years, and we're closer to year 3 of him being MIA. That is incredibly concerning when we're looking at it and saying, we don't think you can be what you can be. Because if you were, you would have been back by now. Wait until I'm going to come back when I'm ready. That's fine. But don't act like we're not justified in saying you coming back is something that we don't know. Because at some point in time, it might be better off that you don't come back. Lest you come back and you become a shell of yourself, and now everything's up in arms. Because you waited too long. I don't want that to be the case. I really don't want that to be the case. I don't want that to be the case at all. But that's what can happen. That's exactly what can happen. Let me see. If Inoue beats Nakatani, beats all the featherweight champions, will he be number 1 pound for pound NBR, where would you rank him all time? NBR. Unless I'm crazy. Oh, excuse me. Will he be pound for pound number one? Where would you rank him all time? If he beats Nakatani and also cleans out 126, yeah, he's pound for pound best in the world. That's a given. That's a given. That's a given. That is a given. That's a given. He beats Nakatani. He moves up and he fights Nick Ball and he destroys him. Most likely he still gets he at least gets tied in most people's eyes. Mind you, if Crawford is indeed doing the one fight a year type situation, with the speed at which in a way it's getting accolades, probably be tied. He beats Rafael Espinoza. That fight, yeah, he's the best in the world. If there was any 2-fight threshold, not even cleaning out 126, just because he's already cleaned out 122. He said he's going to fight at 120. He wants to fight at 122 for as long as possible. 126 is the last stop in Inoue's career. He said that himself. I'm not moving up past. He said it himself. I'm not moving up past 126. His words, not mine. But if he gets there and he beats Rafael Espinoza, not even becoming unified, just to take the belt from Espinoza, after beating Junto, he's the best in the world. He's the best in the world. If he went that route, mind you, this has been the era where we've seen people crowned and put on a pedestal, deservedly so, in the shakeup of the world of boxing as a whole. If he did that, he would most likely be. I've already said he's one of the greatest fighters ever, and his resume has already been stacking up insanely. Crawford doing what he did put him in that threshold of top 10 pound for pound. In a way, is well and good. He's well and good on his way to reaching that threshold as well. I can say that confident. I can say that confident. It is guaranteed. It's guaranteed. If he becomes 3 division undisputed, and cleans out 126, yeah, he's top 10. He's top 10. Mind you, I've said that he can have a Pacquiao-esque type career by the time it's all said and done, if he was willing to fight that long. And he could move up all the way to even 135, dare I say 147, though it would be a huge gap because his talent is that special. But mark my words, though that's a lofty goal, even with where if he just got capped at 126 like he says, and he did everything that we think he can do, even with 1 or 2 losses, because I've told y'all before, I want Inoue to go undefeated. I want Inoue to never lose. But with the way that he's going, I'm pretty confident he's gonna get got at one point in his career. Just like with Terrence Crawford, I was saying, hey, but if he keeps going the way that he's going, don't be surprised if he loses. Not because he's not great, but because he keeps on elevating the scale and talent at which he's fighting. So if somebody does get him, hey, it's because, guess what? He's fighting at a division that he doesn't got no business being in for the average Joe. Even for the elite boxers, he ain't got no business being there. Crawford ain't no business at 168. And if he lost, guess what we were saying? Brother, you were the only person that we thought could make that jump in this era and actually be successful. If you fail, that's not a problem at all. You attempted greatness as the only buddy that we thought could achieve it. There ain't no issue. Anyway, it's the same thing. But if he accomplishes this, oh gosh, yeah, he's most likely in my pound for pound top 10. He's most likely. He's most likely. Because like I said, as a straight up fighter, this is not glazed. This is the truth. He is one of the greatest pure fighters I have ever seen in my life. That's with Joe Louis, one of the most balanced boxers in history. That's with Willie Pep, one of the greatest defensive fighters we've ever seen. That's living through Floyd Mayweather. That's living through Manny Pacquiao. That's understanding the greatness of Roy Jones Jr. and Sugar Ray Robinson. This is one of the greatest talents I've seen in the history of the sport. I can say that confidently. And I've been saying this since I started this channel. In a way, it's going to be one of the greatest we've ever seen by the time he gets out of here. He's going to be one of the greatest we've ever seen by the time he gets done. At minimum, it's going to be one of the most dominant peaks we've ever seen in boxing. I can say that. I can say that for sure. 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 From the standpoint, from the same perspective as we look at Joe Louis, most title defenses in heavyweight history, the dominance of Larry Holmes, Ali at his best from the standpoint of it when he was truly untouchable. When we look at Roy with the rising and going up in divisions. When we look at Roberto Duran at lightweight. When we look at Marvin Hagler at middleweight. When we look at even Canelo Alvarez once he was going through some of the biggest names in the sport. When we look at Terrence Crawford and what he did especially with that run of Kell Brook, Sean Porter, Errol Spence, Madrimov, and then Canelo, that 5-fight stretch, oh my gosh. It's been longer than that, but in terms of, in my opinion, the best qualitative wins that I can put together just in a straight string, it's that. Or even better, the 16 straight KOs that he had from 2016 to 2023. Every fight by knockout. He won up until Israel Madrimov. That type of dominance, anyway, is going to have one. It's going to be guaranteed to have one of the greatest peaks we've ever seen. This man went 22-0 in title defenses. Mind you, he's got 28 fights. Since his sixth or eighth fight in his career, he's never not fought for a title. He has knocked out 17 of his 20-something title defenses. He has beaten undisputed champions 2 times over. He's become an undisputed champion 2 times over. He went through and fought from the top down at 118 and 122. The number one guy then worked his way down to dominate at 118 and then fought the number one guy at 122 in Stephen Fulton in his first fight at super bantamweight, and he outboxed him and knocked him out, all while fighting Stephen Fulton's own style. And he then went through and beat Marlon Tapales, beat Louis Neary, beat Akhmadaliev, and beat Cardenas, who again had fought at 130 and came down and had won every fight by knockout since coming down to 122. Ridiculous, insane. Don't forget, he beat TJ Doheny. Oh, don't forget, he made Paul Butler look like he should not ever box again. Oh, don't forget, he beat Nonito Donaire. He beat Nonito Donaire when Donaire was at the resurgence of the end of his career, going through the Muhammad Ali series. Don't forget, he also went through the entirety of the bantamweight division in the Ali series, just like with Andre Ward when he fought at middleweight. It's one of the most. He is having right now one of the greatest runs I've seen in boxing, at least in my lifetime. It's insane, and it ain't hype. He's proven it. It's a spectacle. He's gonna be. I'm telling you, he's gonna be one of the greatest we've ever seen in the history of the sport. He's gonna be one of the greatest. He's gonna be one of the greatest we've ever seen in the history of the sport. Mark my words when Inoue retires. Mark my words when he retires. Mark, I promise you. I promise you. He's that special. He's that special. He may not be undefeated when he retires, but I guarantee you, you ain't gonna be able to say that there's. It's gonna be hard to say that there's a lot of people better than this cat when he was at his best. I'm dead serious. This cat's something special. He's something. If there was as anything is close to a perfect fighter that I could make, in the way he fits that bill almost to a T. Almost to a T. It's insane. It's so insane. But let me see. Deadliest, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're sorry that you're here with us all today. We're still in the championship rounds, and we are about to go into the last call. If I may do say something myself, we got the last call. We also got some NBA action because the NBA starts today. We're gonna talk about that for a little bit before we get on out of here. But let me see what you got to say, Deadliest, on the ducking Usyk. Has nothing to prove to anyone. He's at the end of his career and can choose to do whatever he wants. Now, here's where you need to understand. That type of rhetoric is why we got the fights with Canelo that we got when he was reigning as undisputed champion and never fighting David Benavidez. That type of rhetoric is the same thing that has us having Tank never fight anybody, which is an issue and a problem. That type of rhetoric is exactly what put Tyson Fury in a position to be able to fight Alo Arlene, to be able to fight Dillian White, to be able to fight Derek Chisora for a fourth time and never fight the likes of Usyk up until a bag got thrown. Because I don't have anything to prove. I can do what I want. That's a terrible sentiment to have. If you are a reigning champion, guess what? As long as you have that belt, you got work to do. If you got a throne to defend, and you got guns, or you got guns aimed at your head, you got shooters trying to take you out, you better either shoot or say, I'm done. Plain and simple. And also, Love King, I see you with the Lakers. Don't worry. Once I answer these last couple of chats, we're going to talk about the Lakers. We're going to talk about the Lakers. We're going to talk about Boston. We're going to talk about, the Dallas Mavericks. All of them, I think most of them are playing this week because the NBA starts today on Tuesday. That's right. Basketball's back, baby. And I'm so excited for it. So stay locked in real quick. Let me get through these chats, and then we're going to talk about that as a whole. But we got to be real. That type of rhetoric of not having stuff to prove, you still got stuff to prove. You still got things to do. You still got people gunning for you. And you don't hold the belts hostage. If you got killers trying to go at you, guess what? You still got to fight them. We are not saying that he is ducking right now. I gave Usyk, like I said at the top of the show, I gave Usyk benefit of the doubt. He's saying that he doesn't know, or he's saying, I'm not going to fight Itauma due to the fact that, one, Itauma's not on his level yet, and two, by the time Itauma does get there, it can be seen or assumed that Usyk is going to be out the door. However, Usyk signed a 5-fight deal per his own people, per his own advisors, as was reported by the Ring magazine themselves. He's got 5 fights on his deal. Itauma can become the mandatory in 2. And if he keeps on saying this type of rhetoric, I'm not going to fight him when he's on his heels. And it's like, hey, you can't avoid him now. That's going to be a problem. And we got to call that a duck. But even without it being a duck, it's very interesting that he's saying this. We've never heard him say this about anybody else. He didn't say this about Anthony Joshua. He didn't say this about Tyson Fury, even the second time when he fought him. He didn't say this about anything. He didn't say this about Daniel Dubois. I beat you once. I ain't got nothing else to prove. I'll fight you again. When Daniel Dubois had his resurgence, he's been on a tear. There's no reason why this should be a statement that comes out of his mouth if it's the same Usyk that we know, but it is concerning because we've heard that from other champions before, and it's a problem because what did it lead to? A bunch of waiting and a bunch of nonsense not happening. That's a problem. We can't complain about Tank. And then when we see that same stuff happen with other fighters, we don't say it. We can't complain about Canelo. And then when somebody who has been doing everything right doesn't do stuff right, we all of a sudden give them a pass. We can't do that. We can't do that. If you got the belt, you better keep it even keel and say, hey, if the fight comes, I'll be ready. If the fight comes, it comes. I'm not looking at that fight right now, but if he gets here, we'll answer that question when it happens. That's a better statement than to say I'm not fighting him outright. No. Because if he gets there to where he's able to fight you, guess what? Are you going to keep that same sentiment? Or are you going to go and make it happen? Because you're going to have something to prove. Whether you like it or not, you're going to have something to prove because you got the belts in hand. You got the titles around your waist. You got the claim of the lineal champion. You are the man. You're not trying to beat the man. You are the man. You are the brass ring. You are the golden goose. You are the kingdom that everybody wants to rule. You are sitting on the throne of bodies that you have taken out. And they want to put your body on that throne of their own. So if you want to say, I don't want to fight you, guess what? Drop the belts and stop fighting. But if you still got the belts and you still fighting, then you better hope and pray that this brother loses. Because if he keeps on rising, it's not going to be no 5-year wait. It's not going to be no 5-fight wait. It's going to be, you got 2 fights, maybe 3 max, before this cat gets put into a situation just like with Fabio Wardley with 18 fights on his career. Now he's got 1 fight, and if he beats Parker, he's going for the Usyk. Itauma can do that same thing. Just like that. So you better be ready. And if you keep talking like this, guess what we're going to say? You a duck. You a duck just like Tank. And we call Tank what? A bum. Because of it. You a duck like Tyson Fury. And we call Tyson Fury what? A bum. When he did that. We just like Canelo. And we call Canelo a bum. When he wasn't fighting Dave Benavidez. So we ain't going to change now. We ain't going to change now. Because you got work to do. I don't care what you think is going to come down the line. You got work to do. These belts mean something, and people want them. So guess what? If you're as good as you say you are, you're going to fight. Well, I don't do comparative errors, but doggone it, Ali was still trying to get fights when he shouldn't have had no business in the ring. I don't try to play this card all the time, but in this case, when it comes to the legacy of people that have done stuff in the past, brother, there's a reason why Tyson Fury or Mike Tyson cried when he talked about Ali, because Ali said himself, hey, brother, there's some things I'm willing to risk. Or there's some things that he was willing to risk that I just wasn't willing to do. He was willing to die in the ring. In fact, where's this clip? Hold on. Wait a minute. Time out. I'm not trying to go on a tangent, but this does need to be said real quick. Real quick. We're gonna get to the NBA. I see your commenting. I see your question, but I need to show y'all this. Because I forgot this clip got brought up. This clip got brought up by Max Kellerman on the ring. Inside the ring. Where's it at? Wait, come on. Don't film it now. I'm going to pull this up for you right here. Because you don't got to take my word for it at all. I'll let people that are even more historically driven in this game go through and say it themselves. Let me make sure this is the right clip. Hold on. Here we go. Yep. you got to understand, part of this whole sentiment is if you are at that top or trying to get to the top, you got to sacrifice, you have to sacrifice something. And in this case in point, what are you willing to give up to make what you want to be applicable? It's different if it's, okay, you're done, then you're done. But if you still got something to give, hey man, what you willing to sacrifice? And talking like this has us having concerns because we're dealing with clips or we're dealing with understood history like this. In the words, well, not like that. Hold on. Like this. Per the words of Matt, we'll let Max and the crew say it.
Is it necessary to be willing to die to win a sporting event in order to be a great fighter? That's the question.
When you hear that, it makes me think of the brute honesty and transparency of Mike Tyson when he separated himself from the comparisons of Ali. And it brought him into tears. He couldn't even believe people would compare him to a man like Ali. He said, what he's willing to do for this, I'm not willing to do for this. He'll die for this. He said, I don't have that in me.
I love that interview. And Mike,
Max.
he also, Malik, he hit the nail on the head. Everyone thinks of Ali as this great boxer and Tyson as this animal. Mm-hmm. But Mike actually was technically a more sound fighter than Ali.
You would teach a fighter how to fight more like Mike than Ali.
But Ali is actually the savage, right? Ali is the dude who's like, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win.
That's a great champion.
And like, I bring this clip up because it's necessary to show you all when we're talking about the issues of ducking or rhetoric like this, when it's saying, I'm not going to face off against this butt. I need to stay away from this cat, or even inklings of that. We are dealing with a situation where this is also in part what you signed up for. Not because we don't care about your health, not because we don't care about, we want you to live long and happy and all that stuff. But at the same time, people have legit died to get the very title that you're holding. People have lost their life to get the very accolade, the crowning achievement of being a champion that you currently have on your waist and attached to your name forever. There is an understood weight that, yes, everybody ain't built for it. Absolutely. But with that weight of what these belts mean and what it's taking people to do to get these belts, you cannot be saying, I'm not going to do the work against somebody who worked their butt off to get the very thing that, again, you hold, that, again, people before them have died trying to achieve. It don't work like that. This, again, is a throne soaked in blood. Because of the weight of the very essence of what it took to get this throne made. There's a reason why we say ducking is very much bad. Because the very opportunity you're trying to run from, people have died just trying to achieve, get a chance at. Their lives altered forever. Paralyzed, brain damage, CTE, limbs done away, mental faculties irreparably damaged. Daily life is now a struggle for some people that went to accomplish your goal. Or worse, they aren't even here. We had 2 people die. I dare say 3 people died last year, almost back to back within a month. Y'all remember the 2 Japanese fighters that we had on the show, not had on the show, but that we talked about on the show when we were talking about how dangerous this sport is. It's a beautiful dance of violence, but it's violence nonetheless. It's a sport soaked in blood. It's a bloody waltz. It's a bloody waltz. It's a beautiful dance, but dang it, what you gotta give up to do this dance is something that, hey, your footsteps are gonna be forever soaked in the essence of this sport, which is your life in some way, shape, or form. And because of that, there's no room to be able to say, yeah, you can't, you can avoid somebody. That's why we're so hard on Canelo. That's why we're so hard on Tank. That's why we were so hard on Tyson Fury. And that's why we are so adamant that Usyk better not be what he's doing right now. Because if that's the case, man, that's bad. One, is contradictory on what you've been doing. And two, it is a spit in the face of everybody who came before you that would have done whatever they could just to get a chance. And then they literally cease to exist because of their dreams and goals. Because of them trying to get what you got. They lost their life. And now you got the audacity to say, I'm too big to fight against or fight against a hot up and comer who can potentially take me out from my throne when he survived the very thing that put people 6 feet under in this road to gold. We don't play that game. At least not on this channel. We don't play that game. If you don't want to fight somebody and you have a belt, drop it. But if you want to be a champ and you don't want to lose the belt, well, you better face facts and get good, because guess what? Ain't no running. Ain't no running. This is for anybody in this sport. Anybody. That's why we're so hard on Usyk or anybody. And we've never been hard on Usyk because we haven't had to be hard on him. Because he did everything that he was supposed to do. There was nothing for us to say. But now, guess what? We got some high alerts. We're like, if anybody played Metal Gear Solid, the video game with Snake, hey, this is how we feel. This is what we're doing. This is what we are right now. We are going and we are dominantly looking and saying, hey, it is what it is. This brother's a big threat. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta fight him. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And so that's why we talk about how we talk about when it comes to the world of Usyk in this conversation, just to put it in a better perspective. But let me keep on reading what you all had to say. Is Abdullah Mason the next star of American boxing? And does he beat Noakes? Yes, I think he knocks out Noakes. I think he knocks out Noakes pretty easily. And he's going to be with the Shakurs, with the Keyshawn Davises, with the even of the older guards, once that time comes, with Teofimo Lopez, with the likes of from Big Star Power, still gonna be Ryan Garcia, still gonna be a big name, with the Devin Haney's, even though Devin Haney's at 147, of that ilk that we see them at now, he's gonna be of that, with Floyd Schofield as well. Oh, it's gonna be a great division. Don't forget, if Emmanuel Navarrete, if he comes up to 135, that's a whole nother dog as well. Now you got yourself a litany of people. And so he's going to be a problem for all of them. For 135 and 140. Potentially 147 if he keeps on growing. So it's going to be insane. But now, Love King, let's get to you. How about them Lakers? Hey, buddy. How about them Lakers indeed? Because now the NBA is back. Hey. The NBA is finally here. As we again, this will be the last thing that we talk about before we get on out of here. Basketball's back. Everybody's excited. Week starting at 7 o'clock tonight with, I believe, let me see the games. Hold on. Timeout. I had them in front of me, but I lost them. I know the Lakers play the Timberwolves, I think at 9 o'clock Eastern time. I'm sorry. I apologize. The Lakers They play. Is it Golden State? Is it Golden State? It might actually be Golden State. Excuse me. Is it? Hold on. Let me make sure. Okay, yeah. Houston and OKC. Golden State and Los Angeles. First 2 games of the season and a litany of games to come down the line for Wednesday. My gosh, everybody's playing this week. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited for off the backs of the crowning achievements of Oklahoma City winning a title for the first time in franchise history with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander playing dominantly in a finals appearance. Mind you, best team outright in all of the NBA. Him, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. With now, I think we should be a healthy Isaiah Hartenstein. And there's one more name I'm missing who is indeed a dangerous threat for this team. I can't remember. I'm blanking at the moment. But either way, roster stacked, looking to be that they can make a comeback and win and be dominant and repeat. Hypothetically, most likely they're going to be the favorite team. But don't forget, we got a couple teams like with Houston who they're playing against, who's now retooled and regrouped with KD in Houston Rockets, running with, at this point in time, the largest lineup in NBA today, with the average height being 6'10". My gosh, Alperen Sengun, Kevin Durant, Amen Thompson, and shoot. Who the other people? It is a dumb, tall lineup of just length. We got Reed Shepard, Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun, all starting, which is ridiculous, insane. Mind you, right now you got Dorian Finney-Smith out, and you got Fred VanVleet, who I wouldn't be surprised if they trade him away. They also got Clint Capella and Steven Adams coming off the bench as the backup centers for this team. I'm not saying they're going to be something insanely dominant, but I am saying if this type of lineup can work, especially on the defensive end, oh, buddy, we could be in for something scary. Now, I don't know about who's going to bring up the ball. I don't know about that. Might have to get a point guard later on in the season, or hope that Fred VanVleet comes back. Can't remember if his season is over or not, but regardless of which, man, it's going to be insane. Couple that with, again, with the West as a whole, there are a lot of open opportunities now in the Western Conference. Ja Morant coming back fully healthy. Desmond Bane now in Orlando with the likes of Pablo Banchero, with the likes of Wagner. Franz Wagner, and that in Jalen Suggs, and that roster down in Florida, who is very much looking to be a dangerous threat, or at least now from youth to experience. They've now got a little bit of both now, and Pablo Banchero can make a huge leap. Be careful, be on the lookout for that team. Don't forget the debacles with Los Angeles Clippers and the whole situation with Kawhi Leonard and the whole Pablo Torres drama, getting paid under the table and all that stuff with Kawhi. We don't know how that's going to turn out. Dallas with the whole situation with him, with Cooper Flagg, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, who grew an inch, Daniel Gafford. That team is looking scary. Defensively, hey, brother, we could see Nico Harris actually make a move that made sense. And dare I say it could work out in the long run. Defense wins championship. Well, hey, brother, you got yourself rim protectors left, right, and center. You have arguably the best defensive player in the league in Anthony Davis, who now, if he's healthy, can average 26. Dare I say 28. And it is a dominant empire when it comes to moving bodies out the way and being able to take over games on its own right. If he can stay healthy, if Kawhi can stay healthy, and the rest of that roster able to be relatively healthy, be prepared. Oh, be prepared. And we can't forget Los Angeles Lakers with the likes of LeBron James being out for, who knows when he's coming back, because the whole situation with the fact that he got, I think, is it a sciatica? I think it's sciatica that he's dealing with. That is going to take him a long to recover. He might not be back for They saying 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It could be over a month. I dare say it could be over 2 months before we see LeBron come back at worst for the Los Angeles Lakers. But with how they've retooled, keeping Rui Hachimura, keeping Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic now being skinny and motivated with what happened out in Dallas, him that being like, oh, I'm going to shut everybody up. Don't forget they finally signed a big man in DeAndre Ayton, which, again, I'm scared of. I'm scared.
We got the problems here.
I'm scared.
We got the problems here.
I'm petrified. Petrified that they signed DeAndre Ayton. Lord knows I don't want that to be. Oh, gosh. Shoot. That could be terrible. Or it could work out great, but we're going to find out. They at least have a big body. Genuinely. And with Gabe Vincent at least looking pretty decent over the course of preseason. I do. Brother out of Kentucky, rookie out of Kentucky, who can potentially be a 6'7" athletic defensive small forward, cause some easy transition turnovers and get to the rim. He could be something serious. They have something in the works that this roster could genuinely be something that is, dare I say, contending. I'm not going to say it's a finals contender. I know everybody likes to say the Los Angeles, yeah, they can win a championship. They're going to be a threat to a title. Everybody just loves Los Angeles. Everybody likes to talk about LA. Understandable. Especially with LeBron, this being potentially second to last year. But I'm telling you right now, if this team can work with Jake LaVaria that they got from Utah, who can be a great small forward, power forward piece, with Jerry Vanderbilt healthy, with Marcus Smart as the defensive anchor point guard, and Lord willing with Dalton Connect showing up and being able to get back to the early days of what he was as a rookie, being also 6'7", not just a great scorer, but Lord knows if he can get some hops on him, he can finish some of those posterizing dunks that he kept on missing in his rookie year. Because he's long, he's lanky, he's actually really big, crazy enough, as a shooter. He gets a little bit more of an offensive bag, or at least just becomes more consistent. All of a sudden, we got ourselves some real makings of something potentially genuine. Now, I'm not saying it's going to all work out great, but this is all going to be predicated on Luka Doncic, as well as LeBron, but more so Luka, with what he looks like in the season. Not because LeBron isn't going to be able to be LeBron, because it's still LeBron. Until he falls off a cliff, I'm not going to say he's going to fall off a cliff. That's the greatest player I've ever seen. Period. He's been consistently doing it for 23 years. I can't say anything against him. Every excuse that you can use is out the window, because he still produces at a top 10, top 15 level. At best, top 5. When he's on one at this stage in his career. This team I'm not going to say this team going to win the finals. But if it can blend together in a couple of key trades, we can be looking at something substantial. Or we can be looking at something substantial as a real threat in the division, or as a real threat in the workings of the NBA. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait. So let me see. Love King Houston got a good shot at winning it all this year. I don't know. That's too early to say. They don't have a facilitator. They do not have a facilitator on that team to move the rock, to hit open people. They got great isolation players. They got Alperen Şengün, who outside of Jokic probably got the best footwork in basketball right now, out the post. Is a great offensive weapon. Great offensive weapon. You got KD, who again is KD. You got Amen Thompson, who, unlike his brother Sir, who again is a pretty decent offensive player. Amen Thompson his upside as an offensive player is through the roof, up there to the ceiling, and he can be insane. But feeding the ball to everybody was going to be Fred VanVleet's job. He's not there. I don't know how long he's going to be out. Unless they find a PG, brother. Ooh, they paid all that money for KD. And they already paid, I believe they already paid Alperen Şengün. It's going to be tough to find somebody to work the ball around, because Fred VanVleet was supposed to be that guy. So I got to see first 10 games of the year because that's going to be concerning. I'm not going to lie. The offense can be tantalizing, but there's no orchestrator to move it around. Unless Amen Thompson all of a sudden becomes a point forward. And if that happens, oh Lord, everybody look out. But I don't know. I don't know at all. But let me see. But they definitely need a point guard. Yep, absolutely. I'm right there with you. Let me see. I mean, Ronda, I think anyway would chew up Espinoza in the pocket and KO him Espinoza and KO Espinoza because Espinoza's defense is leaky on the inside. See, it's the height that I'm concerned about. We talk about the towering inferno and also Flux Cosmic. Yo, brother, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so sorry. We're at the tail end of the show. We're about to end the championship rounds, and we're about to get it out of here. But I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you so much, Don King Jr. Hey, look, I said don't disrespect me by calling me doggone Don King. Hey now, you trying to insult me? Hey brother, hey man, you trying to start something? You're trying to start something over here. Oh man, look, it's all jokes. But I appreciate you tuning in, nonetheless. But again, Rhoda with Espinoza, the issues of height, and again, parallels to the likes of Fundora. But Espinoza ain't that bad defensively, and in terms of offensively, you can argue that brother's better than Espinoza, or you can argue that brother is better than Fundora. From a ability standpoint on the inside, it's insane what he's able to do on the inner workers. He's that tall. I'm not saying Inoue can't beat him. He's got the speed to. But boy, I've said this multiple times. That is going to be his toughest fight at 120, at 126 when he inevitably gets up there. That's going to be his hardest fight. Espinoza will guarantee to be his hardest fight. There is no fight I am scared for when it comes to Inoue except for Espinoza. Nick Ball, I'm a little bit concerned, but I think he's going to handle him. But Espinoza, no. That's an insane hill to climb. I know that. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that right now. Espinoza's definitely beatable. But how you beat him, that's going to... That man is a handful. And he can do some damage. He can rack up damage quicker than Nick Ball. And is better technically. There's the reason why Nick Ball ain't going to fight that brother. There's the reason why Nick Ball, when he could have fought Espinoza, still hasn't fought Espinoza. Because that is a monster to deal with at 126. I'm telling you right now. That brother's avoided for a reason. If Inoue, that's what I'm saying. If Inoue beats him, if Inoue beats Espinoza, he don't got to beat the rest of the division. He beats Espinoza. He's the best in the world. With that Junto and subsequent move up to 126, he wins those two fights. He's the best in the world to me. After that, because that'd be preposterous. That'd be ridiculous. That'd be insane if he does that. Because Espinoza can get caught. But when we talk about ability to crack and be good on the inside, Espinoza is one of the best of the division. It's I'm telling you, it's terrible. It's horrible. It is horrible dealing with that brother on the inside. I don't care how good you may think you are. He will inevitably close the gap, and you got to deal with that type of fire. And it's. I've seen what he can do to people, man. That's. I think Inoue can beat him, but my gosh, that's gonna be so hard. If he makes that look easy, he's got it. It'll validate what I've been saying about him. But it's like that'll put me. I'm not even a detractor of Inoue, and that'll shut me up. That's how important that one will be. That'd be insane. But again, I think that's all we got to cover if there's nothing else anybody has to say, I think we're going to get out of here and send it home. We've gone 3 hours on this episode. It's been a phenomenal show. Love the engagement. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the conversation. And with all of that being said, we're going to get out of here. So ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of The Welch Report with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. We appreciate all of you tuning in on this Tuesday afternoon. Thank you all for joining us on this great edition of The Welch Report. We're going to be back on Thursday and on Friday covering the world of boxing, basketball, and beyond. The NBA is today. NFL, we had a couple games. We forgot to cover a couple games that happened over the week. Carolina, hey, we're over 500. Let's go, baby. Panthers won. We finally got our get back. Cowboys looking good. We got a couple of teams right now who are actually making some noise in the NFL. That's like, oh, just starting to be some separation. We're getting excited for it. Also, be sure, leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts and opinions, subscribe to the channel, and share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. Like the stream before you get out of here. Be sure if you want to support the show, we got Cash App, we got PayPal, we got links down below in the description. If you would like to support, anything we'll do would mean the world to me. And please, it helps me out so much, not just to pay off some bills, not just to help keep the lights on, but to help make this show bigger and better and grander, all for you and your viewing pleasure. While we're waiting on monetization, it would mean the world to me. We can't do super chat shit and all that stuff. We're getting everything lined up properly, and then it's going to be applicable. Absolutely. Just give me a little bit more time, and I guarantee you we're going to make it happen. But rate us 5 stars on your podcasting platform. Be sure to be back here on Thursday. And hey, I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on Thursday. Be safe, be blessed, and we are out here.